welcome to the Mike Graham Show. It is Thursday, the 29th of January. We're nearly at the end of How did we get to the end of January? Sorry, do you mind? I don't know. I mean, it seemed like only the other day was Christmas, you know, and we managed to get that out of the way. My son went back to university. My other son went back to work. I came back to work. We launched on January the 5th. So this is week 4, coming to the end of week 4 of what has been quite a dramatic month, right? The paper's absolutely chock full of news, some of it about China, some of it about Iran, some of it about Keir Starmer. He is, in fact, the subject this morning of our poll, but we'll bring you that in a moment. If you're listening and watching us on YouTube, you know that's we do every single day. You're looking at the front page headlines there. Can we have those again? Sorry, Pooch. I'm just going to read from some of them. Lucy Letby on the front page of The Sun, the greatest miscarriage of justice this century, according to the police investigator who actually was the person responsible for catching the serial baby killer. Says here, was responsible for catching serial baby killer Beverly Allett. He's told of his belief that jailed nurse Lucy Letby is innocent of the crime. He says. This is retired Detective Superintendent Stuart Clifton. He's been reviewing the evidence against the 36-year-old who's been serving 15 whole life sentences for murdering 7 babies and attempting to kill 7 others at the Countess of Chester Hospital. Stuart says this is likely to be the greatest miscarriage of justice this century. Extraordinary. And inside, pages 4 and 5, once you get past pictures of Sydney Sweeney, which can take a while, there is no evidence at all that children were murdered, he says. Amazing. I mean, Peter Hitchens, who we're hoping to get on the show very, very soon, has, of course, been very, very vocal on this story. He says Lucy Letby is not necessarily innocent, but certainly is deserving of a new trial, because he says that he thinks the original trial, was very, very badly organised and very, very badly run. So we shall see. Also, on front page of the Daily Mail, countdown to conflagration, which is possibly the worst headline ever written. We've got Kelvin McKenzie coming in later to film Plank of the Week, and at some point or other we might get him to review the papers, because if he did review the papers, I'm sure he would say I mean, if he was running that paper, he'd go, what on earth is wrong with you? Countdown to conflagration. No, that's not a headline. That's ridiculous. Too long words, right? Trump says, my armada is ready to strike with speed and violence. And the Ayatollah Khomeini, our forces have fingers on triggers and will respond like never before. Well, who can say? But certainly things seem to be heating up in Iran. That story also on the front page of the Guardian, front page of the Telegraph as well. The Times has got it as Iran has its finger on the trigger in face of US threats. Basically, the threat was made after President Trump said that Tehran must abandon its nuclear program or face a far worse attack than the strike last June on its uranium enrichment facilities. So we shall see. We're watching that one with keen interest. Also on the front pages, and we're going to do a plank of the day on this later on, King Charles last night was joined by a host of lovies in Windsor Castle as he unveiled his new film, Finding Harmony, A King's Vision. What's he doing making films? I'm sorry. He's the king of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. He's got plenty to do. Why is he making movies about the environment, which is what he's done? It's a documentary about his environmental campaigning, right? Sorry, I'm not really interested in your environmental campaigning, Your Majesty. I would rather you just got on with running the country, possibly running the Church of England, which has now appointed its latest Archbishop, right? Archbishop of Canterbury, a woman who thinks it's more important to pay reparations to people who were badly done over by the British Empire than it is to actually reach out to her flock and help people. So something very, very wrong with her. Prime Minister shelves plans to overhaul benefits, is what it says on the front page of the Times. But more importantly, this is where we now get to the Prime Minister and Keir Starmer, make no deals with China until Jimmy Lai is freed. And that's Jimmy Lai's son, Sebastian, who has said that. He says the release of his father, who's a British citizen and newspaper owner who's facing life in prison in Hong Kong for what they call sedition, will be the key test for Starmer's reset with China. Let's have a look at Starmer, right? This is him arriving in China yesterday, all on his own, coming off a British Airways plane that he joked he was going to land himself. Have a look. He says that he's come to China with, initially it was sort of leaked out that he was coming with 60 CEOs of different companies. It now turns out that it's not 60 CEOs of different companies, it's 60 people, some of whom are cultural leaders. What does that mean? The head of like Hackney Council, the head of, the World Wildlife Fund, the head of some, ridiculous, charity or other. But what you can be sure of is it's not 60 CEOs, that's for sure. Let's have a look at what he said. And this is really embarrassing, right? This is him speaking to President Xi, or you might say, actually sucking up to him. Have a look.
President Xi, on behalf of the entire delegation, can I thank you for such a warm welcome to China. As you have said, this is the first visit by a UK Prime Minister in 8 years. To my mind, that's been far too long, and I'm very pleased to be the Prime Minister that comes here for the first time in 8 years. Not, in fact, my first visit, but my second visit to China, so it's very good to be back here. I'm delighted that I have a very strong delegation with me, all my top advisors, top ministers, but also a big delegation. We have nearly 60 great British businesses and cultural organisations travelling with us. And these businesses, these organisations represent the best of Britain. And what they want and what I want is to grow and expand in China, taking advantage of all that you have to offer, whilst delivering growth and jobs for the British people back at home. And it's with the British people in mind that I am here today. I made a promise 18 months ago when we were elected into government that I would make Britain face outward again, because as we all know, events abroad affect everything that happens back in our home countries, from prices on the supermarket shelves to how secure.
Can we cut this? It's just
our international partnership.
It's just rubbish, isn't it? Complete and utter rubbish. You feel like, I'm very pleased to have come to China for the first time in 8 years to be leading a delegation of 60 cultural leaders and chief executives. I'd like to know what this list of 60 people is. I don't know whether Charlotte can find out for us, because I bet you any money that it will be chock full of arse lickers, total and utter bloody idiots and useless characters who have got absolutely nothing to bring to the party at all, but they just fancy a trip to China, right? And probably spending public money doing so. Apparently it was 3,000 quid to go economy, 6,000 miles they've travelled, right? I think it's 8,000 quid to go business, right? And Keir Starmer, and it's British Airways, and we're going to be putting them on Plank of the Week later on, because literally the wheels are coming off British Airways. There was a flight that took off from Las Vegas the other day, and as it was taking off, one of the wheels came off. I'm not joking, right? That's how great British Airways is now, right? Now, if you'd had any brains about you at all, you would have paid no attention at all to what Keir Starmer just said there, because he's literally sucking up to one of the world's greatest dictators. We had a poll yesterday in which we were asking you who is the world's biggest dictator. Is it in fact Keir Starmer? And of course it turned out that yes, it was Keir Starmer. We've got a poll going out now today to ask, I think, who's the biggest weapon? Who's the world's most useless weapon, right? Is it a potato gun? Is it a rubber band? There's rubber bands twice there. Or is it Keir Starmer? Surely there should be something other than a rubber band. Slingshot, there you go. Or Keir Starmer. The poll has started. You can go and vote on it right now on the web chat, of course, that we've got. Please do send us your super chats as well, and we'll read those out to you. Now, the other thing I'm going to show you this morning with regard to Keir Starmer, who basically has gone to China for no apparent reason. I don't know why he's gone there. I don't know what he's selling. I don't know what he's giving away. But you can be bloody sure that it won't be any good to any of us. But he's basically just got to suck up to President Xi for some unknown reason. God knows why. Anyway, so Apparently, Pooch has unearthed a piece of historical footage of the Prime Minister, not when he was Prime Minister, and probably not even when he was leader of the opposition, but even before that, when he appeared on a TV show that was run by Robert Kilroy Silk. You might remember Robert Kilroy Silk. He was a sort of ne'er-do-well lawyer who used to wear a lot of fake tan and live in Spain. I once fired him, and unfortunately it didn't work. I fired him, and he was still back at work the next day because he complained to the editor that I tried to fire him, and he wasn't very happy about it. Anyway, well, let's have a look at this. This is the young Keir Starmer making a complete tit of himself on Robert Kilroy Silk's show.
Kilroy, today we ask Acid House, why stop the party? These parties kind of legalised. Is that what you would? You'd rather have them so they're properly regulated.
I want to approach a slightly different aspect, which we haven't.
Barbara, darling, let him finish.
Which we haven't looked at
Just
yet.
a minute, Jeremy.
I'm from the National Council for Civil Liberties, not a party organiser. And what we're very concerned about is the approach of the police, because I've listened to Ken, and he's putting it very much on the level of safety and noise, etc. Whereas in actual fact, some of the things that are being used, such as roadblocks, such as confiscation,
have you been to one of these parties?
such as entering en masse, we have inquiries, hundreds of inquiries
Have you been
every
to one?
week. I haven't. We have hundreds of inquiries. We've been advising the organisers.
Hang on, why haven't you been to a party? How can you organise or advise me if you haven't been to them? Why haven't you been to one?
In the same way that we advise burglars without being burglars.
Those who've been to the parties, would you be...
In the same way that we advise burglars. What? Why is he advising burglars? Right? That's a young Keir Starmer who said he was from the Civil Liberties Union. This was presumably before he offered his services for free to prosecute British soldiers in Iraq who went there fighting for their country, who went there under orders from the Queen, who went there under orders from the Prime Minister, Tony Blair, who went there because they were told that that was their job to do, and who he then pursued in a most vicious and ghastly way, despite the fact that they hadn't done anything other than follow the orders that they were given by their government, right? Absolutely extraordinary. The full travelling delegation. I've got this here. Look at this. This is great. Look at, talk about efficiency. The Aberdeen Group, Jason Windsor from Anglo American, Stuart Chambers from Airbus, John Harrison from Arup, Jerome Frost from AstraZeneca. Well, that's not a British company, is it? Oh, hang on, it's all disappeared again. So these are the people who have gone on the Chinese delegation, right, with Keir Starmer at great expense, and you can be pretty sure that some of them will have paid their own way, but some of them will actually have been subsidised to go by the government, right? So we've got Airbus, we've got Anglo American, we've got Arup, we've got AstraZeneca, all big companies. Pascal Soriot, from Baker McKenzie, don't know who they are. Sonny Mann from Barclays Bank. Angela Liu, Birmingham Museums Trust. Why are they there? Why have you got to go there from Birmingham Museum Trust? Sarah Wajid from Bridgepoint Group, don't know about them. Tim Score, British Airways. Wheels coming off, thank you. Colm Lacey, Brompton Bikes. Brompton Bikes! Come off it. William Butler Adams from Ceres Power, I don't know who they are. Warren Feingold from the China-Britain Business Council. Oh, yeah, that sounds like a quango. Sebastian Wood from Chucklefish. Don't know what they are. Sounds like a restaurant. Donna Orlowski from Clifford Chance, they're lawyers. Adrian Cartwright, CVC, no idea. Robert Lucas from the Edinburgh International Book Festival. What? Why has he gone? Jenny Niven from Feng Ling Productions. Sounds like a film company. Farouk Chowdhury from Freshfields, sounds like a law firm. Georgia Dawson, GSK. I think that's a big accountancy group as well, isn't it? Sir Jonathan Simmons from Halion. Brian McNamara from Hal, no idea. David Butcher, Heather Wick, don't know who they are. Craig Miller, HSBC, well, they're a bank, we know who they are. Brendan Nelson, Holland and Barrett. Aren't they the people that sell those funny giant, jars of pills in the high street? Anthony Houghton, Jaguar Land Rover, brilliant. Pathamadai Balaji from KPMG, that's an accountancy firm. Melissa Geiger, Mayor of West Midlands. Oh, great. Any chance of Maccabi Tel Aviv being allowed to have supporters come and watch a football match? Richard Parker, Lady Mayor of the City of London. Susan Langley from Liberties in London, that's a shop. Andrea Petocci from the FTSE, FTSE Russell, don't know about that. Fiona Bassett from McLaren, racing team. Nicholas Collins, National Galleries of Scotland. Why? Who's paying for his trip? Anne Lydon, National Museums, Liverpool. Laura Pye, National Theatre. See, it's all lovey's going, right? Kate Vara, Natural History Museum. These are jobs for the boys, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. Doug Gurr, North East Museums, a lot of museum people going. Keith Merrin, Octopus Energy, very nice. Greg Jackson, Pearson. Omar Abosh, Prudential, PLC, Life Insurance. Anil Wadhwani, PricewaterhouseCoopers. Marco Amitrano, Rex. YS Chi from Royal Museums, Greenwich. Why are all these museum people going? He's making out like all of these CEOs have gone from these massive big companies, right? And they've all gone to China because we're all going to do a really, really brilliant job of doing business with China. Well, the National Museums people are not going to do any business with China. How is that going to be benefiting anybody in this country? All they're going to be doing, basically, is going on a jolly, having lots of nice, big, catered-for meals and staying in some very nice, ritzy hotels and bringing zero business to Britain. What is the point? Here's a super chat from Lou. A plumber tried to speak about bad sanitation in the Letby trial. We are now hearing of deaths due to poor sanitation at other hospitals. Retrial now. Well, an awful lot of you, I'm sure, will agree with what is being said on the front page of The Sun today. Verdict of the top cop who snared the angel of death. It's retired Deputy Superintendent Stuart Clifton who's been reviewing this evidence against the 36-year-old Lucy Letby, who's serving 15 whole life sentences. This is a guy called Detective Superintendent Stuart Clifton. He says this is likely to be the greatest miscarriage of justice this century. Lucy Letby, incredible. Taxpayer is paying for everything, not forgetting their huge expenses, says Barry. Yeah, I think that's very true. Starmer is basically lying again. 60 CEOs, yeah, right. Well, it seems as though about half of them are from the bleeding museum business. Natural History Museum, Museums of the West Midlands, Museums of Edinburgh. I mean, why are all these museum people going? What's it got to do with them? It's like that episode of Yes Minister when they jet off to Qumran and everybody goes for a jolly. It actually is. It's more like Yes Minister every single bleeding day. Absolutely extraordinary. A couple of other things to show you. I've got a rather long clip. Normally we would have Elliot Keck in here from the Taxpayers Alliance to do the papers with us, but for some reason he hasn't turned up. I don't know where he is. We haven't heard from him. I blame William Yarwood, personally. He was meant to be here, but he couldn't come, so he nominated his boss to come, and his boss obviously hasn't woken up. Never mind. We can do the papers on our own. But before we do anything else, let's have a look at Susan Hall. She is, of course, the former Conservative leader in the London Assembly. She normally gets up the nose of Sadiq Khan, which is always something we'd like to encourage her to do. Let's have a look at her talking about the grooming gangs right now.
Now back to our lead story tonight, the conviction of 9 men for being part of a child exploitation ring who used young girls for sex.
It was rape, abuse and violence on an industrial scale.
Something seems to be going badly wrong with the inquiry into the grooming gangs scandal.
Just how many grooming gangs have we got in London?
Can she define what she means by that? What does she mean by that?
Are you not listening?
Today we need to give a full answer. Can she be clear what she means by that? I'm not clear what she means.
It's the sort of gangs that groom young girls at a young age for sex.
So my understanding, speaking to the police, and she'll appreciate that on a regular basis, is, and I choose my words carefully for the reason she'll understand, there's no reported cases, but also no indication of the grooming gangs that she's concerned about in London.
For years, Britain's grooming scandal has been defined by cases in Northern England. London has barely been mentioned. Across the capital, grooming gangs are targeting young girls and boys.
Children in the care of Lambeth Council were subjected to decades of cruelty and sexual abuse.
Haringey couldn't guarantee its legal responsibility to monitor high-risk cases of child abuse.
Look long and hard at Victoria Columbier. The same child protection services which missed dozens of opportunities to save her have failed again. And this time, a 17-month-old baby is dead.
Just like Victoria Columbier, Baby P was known to Haringey Social Services. They allowed Baby P back into his mother's care against police advice.
Shouldn't have to say tackling child sexual exploitation is a priority.
No, this is why this is such a hard-hitting report. I think we recognise this. We looked at literally hundreds of case files like this and 3/4 of them weren't good enough. We had to send 38 of them straight back to the Met immediately because the severity of what they contained was leaving children at risk.
This is a question that I've been trying to answer over the past year. 12 months ago, I asked Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, this question, and he couldn't answer. I'm not the Met Police. I'm not the Mayor of London. I am just a concerned mother and grandmother. But as a London Assembly member, I do have a platform. Since then, multiple victims and family members of victims of child sexual exploitation have reached out to me to tell me their story. What I've heard from the victims is absolutely horrific and, quite frankly, heartbreaking. This isn't a simple thing. This is very complex. But for sure, the people that have suffered so badly. This cannot be ignored. I am publishing a report today that asks to what extent grooming gangs exist in London. If I can gather this information from victims who proactively reached out directly to me, can you imagine how many countless cases of child sexual exploitation there are out there that are not being investigated? Please follow the link to read my report. Thank you.
We're going to speak to Susan Hall soon because I think that looks like a very interesting report in the shadows, because she has been really, really doggedly pursuing Sadiq Khan over this particular issue of grooming gangs in London, and because, of course, it's now been admitted that, in fact, of course, as you would expect, despite what Sadiq Khan has always said, that there was no evidence that there were any grooming gangs operating in London, it turns out that, of course, there are, and of course there were, and of course they still are going on. Because how is it possible, and this is what Susan Hall used to say all the time, how is it possible that all of these grooming gangs were operating up and down the country in all sorts of places, from Telford to Oxford to Rochdale to Rotherham, to Glasgow to Edinburgh, to every single town and city in the country, but somehow, miraculously, there was nothing ever happening in London? Absolute nonsense. Complete rubbish. Cookie's Film says this: Labour said there's nothing to see here when it comes to groomers. Well, that is the problem. Els Bells says this about Starmer's visit to China. Morning, Mike. Starmer evolved from Pol Pot, Tin Pot, now Toss Pot. I think that's pretty good. Thank you very much. This trip was a paid-for vacation for his friends, says Holly. Well, it certainly does seem as though there's an awful lot of people going to this trip to China, 6,000 miles on a British Airways plane, who have got no business being there. Why is the head of the Natural History Museum gone? Why is, the person from the West Midlands Museum gone? West Midlands Mayor? Scottish museums. Why? Morning, Mike, says Sarah in Birmingham. I'm sorry I stopped watching for a few minutes when you played the clip of that Muppet speaking in China. I put the rubbish out, a much better use of my time. Can we go back, actually, to Starmer speaking in China? Bad Gambler says, Keir Starmer is a joke. When the main man doesn't meet you off the plane, that's a slap in the face. Well, that's it. He walks off the plane, right, and nobody's meeting him. Do you remember that? There was footage, I think it was last year, when they had the... I think it was a meeting of either the European Union leaders or a meeting of the so-called Coalition of the Willing. And Keir Starmer went to Budapest, it was in Hungary, and he gets out of the car and literally nobody's there to meet him. Everybody else gets out of the car and gets a handshake from the Prime Minister of Hungary or somebody or other, right? Keir Starmer gets out of the car, literally nobody there. And so, as you would have seen this morning, he walks off the plane and everybody's just staring at him. Who's this bloke? Little bloke. Quite insignificant looking little bloke with stupid haircut who looks a bit like Max Headroom. But let's go back to what he was saying to President Xi as he was sucking up to him.
President Xi, on behalf of the entire delegation, can I thank you for such a warm welcome to China. As you have said, this is the first visit by a UK Prime Minister in 8 years. To my mind, That's been far too long, and I'm very pleased.
I mean, I can't watch
to be
it.
The Prime Minister.
I can't watch it.
Comes here for
Who's
the
that
first
bald
time
bloke who's
in
left?
8 years.
Who's that guy?
Not in fact my first visit.
You
but
can
my
see
second
Peter
visit,
Kyle. He says he's got his
China,
top
so it's
advisors
very
with
good
him,
to
right?
be,
Peter Kyle,
back here.
a bloke who's, by his own admission,
I'm
dyslexic
delighted
and gets everything
that
wrong.
I have a very strong delegation with me.
Really?
All my top advisors.
All your top advisors.
ministers,
Baldy on the left,
but also
Peter
a
Kyle on
big
the right, who
delegation.
can't spell.
We have nearly
Brilliant.
60 great British
Is
businesses
that George Osborne at the
and
end?
cultural
Looks
organisations
like him.
travelling with us.
What's he doing there?
And these businesses,
What's George
these
Osborne doing
organisations represent the best of Britain. And what they want,
There he
and
is.
what I want, is to grow and expand in China, taking advantage of all that you have to offer, whilst delivering growth.
Yeah,
and
he's
jobs
actually listening to our
for the
show
British people
at President
back.
Xi. You know, that Mike Graham, you know,
And
listen
it's
to that.
with the
Here's the
British
thing, right?
people
You know,
in
we're going to
mind
talk
that
over
I
this.
am
This is a
here
bloke, he's a complete
today.
numpty. Nobody cares
I
what Keir
made a
Starmer
promise
says. He's got
18
nothing
months
good to
ago
say, right? Shut up.
when we were
Just shut up.
elected.
Basically, what you have there, and the BBC, I was listening to the BBC this morning for my sins, so, you know, it's my own fault. I shouldn't be so stupid as to do that. But I happen to have it on the car Radio 4. And they launched into their main news by saying that Keir Starmer has had a 60-minute meeting with President Xi, as if that was something to boast about. Well, he's gone 6,000 miles. So presumably, the Prime Minister of China, or the President of China, whatever he is, would give him an hour of his time, wouldn't he? One from Cindy who says, I can't start my morning without you. You are fantastic. Cindy, thank you very much indeed. Very kind. We've got plenty to do today. We've got lots of stories to run through in the papers. Let's finish up by looking through some of the other stories on the front pages, of course, as well, because it's not just all about Lucy Letby. It's not just all about China. Front page of The Guardian says, time is running out. Trump says, as US Armada heads towards Iran. Basically, there's a sort of standoff currently going on between Donald Trump and the Ayatollah Khomeini because they're both kind of threatening each other with all sorts of things. The Mirror goes with a slightly more Trump's war threat to Iran. Now, that's a proper headline. You know, I used to work for the Daily Mirror, and you know I'm no big fan of theirs as a newspaper. But the Mail today, Countdown to Conflagration, is absolutely horrific. That's not a headline. That's a sentence, which doesn't really work, I'm afraid. Trump's war threat to Iran is much better. Don't have an ejector seat button to dismiss Starmer. Yeah, a bit like the old James Bond film. Chinese look as bored as we do, says disgruntled G. Yeah, they do, because he's so boring. He's literally, I mean, he would make a duck commit suicide. I don't know why I thought of that, but I mean, you literally go, can you shut up? I just don't want to talk to you. Now, Labour have been told, this is a good one, this is on the front page of The Guardian as well, research by the University of Southampton has found that people feel high streets have declined more than any other part of their area over the past decade as well-known chains have collapsed and shoplifting has risen. So they're basically saying Labour will be washed away in a tide of discontent at the next general election unless it tackles the decline of Britain's high streets, right? So, I mean, that's the problem, isn't it? So you've literally got Britain's high streets bereft. Hardly any shoppers, hardly any shops, lots of shoplifters, but really completely and utterly hopeless. We've just got a great message here from Paul. You see it on the screen. My father was a chopstick maker. Brilliant. We've got a message from Donald, by the way, who's in the house. Apparently he's down the road. Yeah, he's waiting to get in. So we might have to get him in to do the paper review the way things are going, because at the moment we haven't got one. Chinese, what was that one? Chinese Think? Didn't see it.
Okay.
Let's get another look at that. Hang on. All right. Well, look, we'll come back to that. Don't worry. Here's one from John, who's got sent us a super chat. Xi is listening to music and smiling. Yeah, he's absolutely not listening to Starmer, because Starmer's got nothing at all to say. Absolutely nothing. Completely hopeless. Let's have a look at what's on the front page of the Daily Telegraph. That is, of course, one of the big newspapers of the day, and it's got a follow-up for the ECHR story from yesterday, when Keir Starmer was unveiled as the man who was working for free to prosecute British Army veterans for war crimes, right? Basically, that's what he wanted to do. And according to the story today, Keir Starmer actually said that we should use the ECHR to investigate British troops. This is a massive scandal, right? Former Army Chief calls into question the Prime Minister's fitness for office over his association with convicted fraudster Phil Shiner. Now, this story is going to have legs and it's going to go. And one of the reasons why he should not be in China, one of the reasons why he should not be hobnobbing it with the leaders of the Chinese government and indeed with various bankers and heads of museums and various other ne'er-do-wells who've gone with him, is that there's so much to fix right here in Britain. How about this? Sir Keir Starmer called for European human rights laws to be used to investigate British troops in Iraq in a book edited by Phil Shiner, the disgraced lawyer, right? In the book, the Prime Minister accused the government of a deliberate effort to alter international law. He claimed it had given British troops an effective immunity when operating in Iraq. Sir Keir's chapter was published in a 2008 book called The Iraq War and International Law. Sounds riveting, doesn't it? Put together basically by Shiner, who was subsequently convicted of fraud and struck off as a solicitor over false claims of abuse made against British soldiers. So here's Keir Starmer, the now Prime Minister of this country, associating with a man who was a fraudster, a man who made up horrific stories about abuse carried out by British soldiers in order for those British soldiers to be prosecuted, in order for them to be imprisoned, in order for them to have their lives ruined, despite the fact that he made it up. And who was his cohort? Who was his partner in crime? None other than Sir Keir Starmer. I think this is an absolute scandal that needs to be exposed at the highest level. The Telegraph has also uncovered a photograph of Sir Keir Starmer and Shiner speaking at an event in 2014 to mark a landmark European Court of Human Rights judgment. So he was involved in a book that came out in 2008 with this guy Shiner. He was then still associated with him in 2014, 6 years later. And only, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, the Telegraph has uncovered the picture of them both together. Yesterday, General Sir Peter Wall, the former Chief of General Staff who commanded British forces in Iraq, said it was shocking that Sir Keir Starmer had linked himself to Shiner, whom he described as the bane of our lives, right? Sir Peter questioned Sir Keir's suitability to be Prime Minister in charge of the military over his involvement in a legal case that led to hundreds of troops being investigated over false claims of war crimes. Kemi Badenoch, the Conservative leader, yesterday called for Sir Keir to apologise for his role in the case, accusing both the Prime Minister and Lord Hermer, that scumbag, the Attorney General, of helping people who act against our country's national interest. Absolutely extraordinary story. And what the hell is Keir Starmer doing in China while all of this is going on? Why the hell has he taken a load of people from various different museums up and down the country? How is that going to help the economy of the UK? How is that going to help the high streets, which are now collapsing before our very eyes, with, as some of you are pointing out, more shoplifters than shops? Absolutely ridiculous. Brian says, Humpty Dumpty threw himself off the wall after meeting Stalin Starmer. I'm not surprised. And they couldn't put him back together again either. The Telegraph investigation has discovered that legal documents that showed Sir Keir Starmer worked voluntarily for human rights groups on a landmark legal case which ruled that British law applied in war-torn Iraq. Sir Keir's spokesman insisted yesterday that the Prime Minister had assisted the court on points of law not to advocate for either side. But in the hearing held before the Law Lords in 2007, Sir Keir, who was representing a series of human rights organisations, argued that investigations into the deaths of Iraqi civilians had been perfunctory and, in his words, wholly inadequate. Keir Starmer hates Britain, right? There is no question about that. He doesn't like soldiers. He wants to prosecute soldiers. He wants to not only prosecute soldiers from Iraq, he also wants to prosecute soldiers who are now in their 70s and 80s who fought bravely against the IRA and terrorism in Northern Ireland in the 1970s, in the Troubles. He wants to go after them as well. What an absolute and utter bastard. I know I'm not supposed to swear. I try not to. Another story on the front page of the Telegraph is this. Labour council leaders have been lent on to cancel local elections. According to the party's ruling body, the charge was made during this month's meeting of Labour's ruling National Executive Committee, the NEC, posted online by a veteran member of the body. The government has maintained that elections were not cancelled for party political reasons, despite fears of a Labour rout by Reform UK. The allegation has fuelled demands for ministers to come clean on whether council leaders were subjected to political pressure to call off May the 7th polls. I mean, what is going on at the heart of government? Keir Starmer's gone to China, all right? The world is going to hell in a handcart, and he's not here. What's going on? What is going on? That's what I want to know. Meanwhile, in the Times, on page 10, they've got a follow-up story to their splash yesterday about migrants basically getting fake jobs in order to stay in this country illegally. It turns out there's Facebook groups all over the place run for migrants who want to get fake jobs. According to The Times, in a Facebook group for migrants seeking UK work visas, a woman appeals for help. My visa ends next month. If anyone can help me out, she writes. She's hoping for a real job, but is so desperate that she will accept a fake one, even if it's only on a payroll, she says. Within hours, the post has got 16 replies. Another post offers a genuine work sponsorship, which can be used to apply for a work visa, with or without work. Valid for 3 years. It's for tailoring businesses and IT. Apparently, according to the Times story, over 4 months, reporters spoke to 26 agents, identified more than 250 examples of fraudulent sponsorships being offered in hospitality, IT, finance, management and healthcare. And in almost every case, the arrangements were first advertised on Facebook. Great, isn't it? I mean, I don't know why we bother paying tax. I've just paid a bucket load of tax to the tax man. Corporation tax, income tax, VAT, you know, council tax. Everything's gone up. And these scumbags are coming here, working for nothing, and getting visas to stay in the country, able to use the NHS, able to use free transportation, able to use all of the great things that we offer them, and for nothing in return. Super chat from Simon. Thank you very much indeed. Simon sent us a tenner. That will help with lunch. I came in this morning with some butter. I had a sort of butter fixation. I don't know why. I was out drinking with Donald McLeod last night. That's probably what it was. He's now turned up as well. So well, you can hear him chuckling in the background. He still burst. Anyway, listen, it's time for the news with Edward Hughes.
Good morning. Here is the news for today, Thursday, 29th of January. I'm Edward Hughes, rise and shine. The UK headlines are buzzing this morning. Prime Minister Keir Starmer is in Beijing making history, the first UK leader to visit China in 8 years. He met President Xi Jinping at the Great Hall of the People, pushing for a more sophisticated and deeper relationship amid global chaos. Starmer called for stronger economic ties, climate cooperation, and tackling migrant smuggling networks. Xi urged both sides to rise above differences and build a comprehensive strategic partnership. What a plank. It's a big thaw after years of frost, with trade and stability on the line as Trump shakes up the world order. Elsewhere, a shocking attempted robbery in Salford, an 80-year-old man arrested after allegedly tying up a 95-year-old woman and demanding cash. Police are investigating. Debate heats up over a potential social media ban for under 16s. Lords backed it, but government wants to see Australia's results first. Parents and teens are split. Plus, Dame Sarah Mullally confirmed as the first female Archbishop of Canterbury. Historic moment for the Church of England. That's the UK pulse right now. Big diplomacy day. What's your take on the China reset, Mike? Later's Tigers?
I'm Mike Graham, and this is the Mike Graham Show. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is free, it doesn't cost you any money whatsoever. But if some of you, of course, don't like the adverts, we can always give you a way around that. What you can do is you can sign up for YouTube Premium, which means you'll watch it ad-free, or you can join our Substack, which is themikegrahamshow.com, and for £1 a week, you basically get to watch the show completely ad-free every single morning from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. And it does really, really help us if you like the YouTube channel and if you subscribe to it as well. And that doesn't cost you a penny. So you can do that and push our subscription numbers up. We're already hitting over 5 million views. We've got 126,000 subscribers already, but we want to make that bigger and bigger and bigger because that really does help the channel. The adverts that do appear, of course, on YouTube are put there by YouTube, not by us. There may come a time when we schedule ads so that we know exactly when they're coming in, but do forgive us if you're watching the show and the adverts do come on. But as I say, we really, really want your support. We really, really value it. And if you can join our Substack for £1 a month, that would be great. If you just want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, that would also be great. Have we got any other messages, Pooch, for the good people? Well, what they get on Substack is they'll get a little video from me every day about what I'm up to. Yesterday, I was on a tube train, and I'll tell you all about what happened then. Quite an interesting story. You'll also get little blogs. You might get an occasional recipe from me as well, maybe at least once a week. We're going to try and do that. And all sorts of other goodies that nobody else will see if they're not part of the Substack community. So do sign up to it, themikegrahamshow.com. Do sign up and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. It doesn't take any time at all. It doesn't cost you anything, but it pushes our numbers up and it really helps the channel. So thank you very much for your support so far. We're looking forward to going into our 5th week very soon. The first month of the Mike Graham Show has been a great success. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to Pooch. Thanks to Charlotte, who puts it all together behind the scenes. And we'll see you every single morning right here, Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. So, here we are. It is Thursday, the 29th of January, and we've been running through some of the stories in the papers. By the way, I just want to say, back end of the news there, Edward Hughes asked me a question about whether what I thought about the China. Look, it's not for you to ask me questions, Edward, all right? You just read the bleeding news, and we'll let you know if we need anything else from you. But you don't. It's not an interview process, all right? I don't want you asking me any questions at all, right? So I'm not going to tell you. People know what my views are on the Chinese situation. You know, Keir Starmer's gone down there, right? He's bowing and scraping to the world's greatest dictator. We've got, by the way, a poll going at the moment, haven't we? Can we fire that one up, Pooch, and have a look and see what we're doing? The question, I think, today is what's the worst weapon of all time? Is it a potato gun? Is it a slingshot? Is it something else? I can't remember what the third one is. Or is it Keir Starmer? The answer to most of the polls on this show is Keir Starmer, to be honest. Yesterday, Starmer should tell Xi that... No, I'm not reading that out. That's super chat. Thank you very much indeed. I don't think I can do that. Coming up later on today, we've got Donald McLeod in the house. He's going to be joining us to tell us what's going on in the hospitality business up there in Scotland, where, of course, things are even worse than they are here. Because not only have they got to worry about Keir Starmer ruining the country, but they've got the SNP helping them out and making it even worse. Lots and lots of you tuning in. Trump told Carney that China would eat them, and Carney is slimy, but Starmer just seems clueless. I hope you guys survive him. We here in the States, while we have our own problems, are praying for you, says Holly Frederick. Yeah, I know. You have my Indian support, as personally I have learnt a lot, and during my professional career gained a lot from the English in England while I was in the UK, says Lockhand. And imagine the list of lies from Starmer when he returns from China, says SOB. Exactly right. I'm afraid Starmer is a dangerous weapon, says RSQ. Yeah, I mean, Starmer's gone to China. Nobody knows why. He says he's taken 60 CEOs. He hasn't. He's taken quite a lot of people with him, but an awful lot of them have got nothing to do with companies. Many of them run museums. Many of them, he's got the West Midlands mayor going there. What's that for? Why is she there? Unbelievable. John wants to point out that YouTube Premium now costs $12.99 a month. It's gone up from $8.99 a month, which is what I just said it was. So my apologies for that. That's a bit of an increase, isn't it? I mean, talk about bloody inflation. Crikey. Substack, still cheaper. You can get our show for £1 a day. I think we've got a bit of a problem with it today. So be generous and bear with us while we try and fix that. But basically, you can normally watch our show on Substack ad-free every single day from 7 to 9:30. In case you didn't know, and in case you've only just joined us for the first time this week, which would be ridiculous, we've now extended the show to 9:30. So that you get 2.5 hours of the show instead of just 2. And today, actually, we're going to be doing live what we normally do on a Friday, which is to have a bit of a wine tasting scenario going on with Chris Walkie, who's coming in, who is Mr. Fizz, of course. And Donald McLeod has rather helpfully brought down a bottle of Buckfast for us to try. We're going to drink that before we do Plank of the Week, so anything could happen. What have we got? We've got a clip. Let's have a look at the clip. Yeah, go on. Plonk of the Week. Here we go.
Vicky Michelle.
Oh, he's gone rogue. He's opened one without the protective clothing on.
We're going to use this as a spittoon, so we're going to get any excess in here, but so we make sure we don't drink that.
Okay then. So what is this now? This is another one that's same flavour.
So this is the same kind of label, but this is the superior quality. So what I'd like you to do is just see whether or not you notice a better quality of flavour. It's £14. We're jumping up a notch here from Majestic.
Is it slightly lighter as well in colour?
I don't know if it would be. It possibly could
Looks
be.
a little bit clearer.
I think under these beams of lights.
Here it is. That one. That one there. So slightly different. It's got Valdo Biadini, La Giosa, et Amorosa. You sort of
Did he do well?
No. I'm really embarrassed, you know, that I don't speak a foreign language properly, because I think we all should. I think we should. It's you know, it's one of those things that I always think. I did French at school and I did Latin. Hated Latin. French was all right, but I mean, we just don't learn enough foreign languages in this country, do we?
Well, I think everybody speaks usually English abroad, so we become lazy.
Yes.
When I travel, the world tasting wines, most people do speak English, but I always thank somebody for speaking English. I said, I really appreciate I'm in your country and thank you for speaking in English.
And I mean, whenever I go to Spain, I kind of remember some of the words, and I can do a very basic kind of conversation in Spanish. I can order food, I can, order beer.
Una cerveza, please.
I can do the same in France. I do the same. My French actually sometimes comes back to me more quickly because I suddenly then remember words that I didn't even know I remembered from when I was at school.
You need to be there for a while, don't you? Once you're there for a while, it starts to hit back.
I just think we should be so much better at that in our schools, that we should teach kids, we should make them learn another language,
Well, let's look at this wine here. Look, noticeably, you can see the bubbles there.
Yeah.
And look at the finesse of these bubbles. So already we're totally different
they're
style
smaller,
wine.
aren't
They're
they?
smaller. So
interesting.
It's in a different region, and it's a beautiful hilly region. They're hand-picked grapes as opposed to this.
That is actually quite a lot different, isn't it? Because you can almost taste the effervescence more.
Try another little piece.
Is it another bit of brie?
Another bit.
That's Chris Walkie from last week. We'll be joined by him later on today, of course. I don't know if he's bringing any cheese with him today, I don't know. Super chat from Bright Spark, thank you very much indeed. Keep sending those in. Right now, though, it's time to go to our favourite Welshman, who is, of course, Jamie Jenkins in Welsh Wales. Jamie, very good morning to you, sir.
Morning, Mike. How are you doing? You all good?
Not bad at all, not bad at all. I thought I might kick you off this morning with the front page story in the Times, which says the Prime Minister is shelving a fresh plan to overhaul benefits. Welfare reforms unlikely before the next election because he doesn't want to have another clash with his own MPs. Now, this is something that they said they were going to fix. They said they were going to save money. They said they were going to reduce the number of people on welfare, and instead it's gone up.
Well, you can guarantee, Mike, if Keir Starmer says he's going to do it, he's going to do the opposite, isn't he? Because literally, he has missed the U-turn. Hopefully, Mike, his plane doesn't U-turn back from China as well. He can stay there. The country might be in a much better place. But this story, Mike, is pretty much that they try to make some savings, and the big fanfare was, we're going to get the welfare bill down, and we know the welfare bill's going up and up and up. We've got more and more people going on it, and the one problem we've had with this high inflation that we've got compared to some comparable countries as well, Mike, is that just remember benefits go up with inflation as well. So every time inflation creeps up, the benefit bill goes up. So try to get hold of this. What happened is backbenchers have had a bit of a revolt, so they can't do anything on that. So we're going to go through this whole parliament with benefits going up. This party, Mike, the Labour Party, is literally, if you're a worker, you may as well just pack your job in tomorrow and go on benefits because against the workers, they want more benefits and they're going to be paying more benefits because he's got no backbone, he's got no control. You'd think with the majority he got in the election that he'd be able to just put through anything he wants. But you've got a party where that front bench is completely different politically from the back bench. And we're in paralysis mode with the government, Mike. It's just nonsense.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? And I mean, again, I said to somebody this morning, what the hell is the point of paying tax? I spent a bucket load of money in December on corporation tax I had to pay. Loads of money out on personal tax this month before the end of January. Load of VAT, which is going to go out before the 7th of February, which is for the last quarter. And I'm getting literally the square root of sweet FA from this government in terms of any sort of help. I don't want any help, but what I'd like to see is services getting better, services improving, the NHS getting better, services, they're getting better. But no, everything's just getting worse and worse and worse. And they're putting more and more money into migrant hotels. They're putting more and more money into benefits. People who don't work get treated better in this country than people who do.
And therein lies the problem. And the big fallout we've had in the Tory party with, I think, some of the defections to the Reform Party, Mike, is the Tory party won't even admit that Britain is broken. I think Kemi Badenoch was saying this week, we don't want to have young people thinking Britain's broken. We don't want them leaving. Well, we've got the facts, Michael. Young people are graduating, they're going off abroad, they're fed up, Britain is broken, all the taxes are going up. And the thing that's going to be a big kicker, Mike, it looks bad today, but taxes are going to be going up for the next 2 or 3 years as well because you've got that fiscal drag where your wages go up. You're going to get dragged into more and more tax because they're not putting the tax bands up. So taxes are going up. You'd think if taxes are going up, you'd be getting a bit of a better service. But unless you're coming over on a small boat and being put up in a hotel, you're at the back of the queue for a lot of these things, and it's just not on.
No, exactly right. And you don't even get to vote, do you? Because, of course, more and more councils have cancelled the voting purposes in May. And there's a story on the front page of the Telegraph today, don't know if you've seen it, in which it basically says that there was an awful lot of pressure put on individual councils to cancel the elections. It says here, where is it? 200, hang on a minute. I can't find it now. Here we go, yeah. Labour councils were lent on before these decisions were made, according to the NEC, the Labour's National Executive Committee. Basically, the government has maintained that elections were not cancelled for party political reasons, despite fears of Labour being routed by reform. But the allegation has come out that basically council leaders were lent on to cancel those local elections by the National Committee.
No surprise, Mike. So we've had 29 elections postponed. And some of them have been postponed, I think, previously as well. So you're going to get close to 7 years between the last time you had an election and when you have the next election. Now, they're arguing that this is all to do with reorganisation. But I'll argue back, Mike, that we had a general election in July 2024. We're already into January 2026. It's a bit kind of, why are they postponing elections this close? They could have basically come up with this idea for reorganisation a while back. Or if reorganisation is on the cards, why didn't they just wait, reorganise after the next election? Because you can't stop democracy. And the Labour Party are the main beneficiary of these councils being cancelled. But actually the Tory party, we've got to call that out as well, Mike. I think there's more Tory councillors who get to stay on because some of the councils, which are much larger, are Tory run. So I think in total, 650 councillors will carry on. The Democratic mandate, I know where I live in Wales, Mike, we got the Senate elections coming up in May. They can't cancel those and Labour are going to get an absolute hammering. But basically, with the Andy Burnham saga last weekend, Starmer has got two fingers up to democracy. Most of the manifesto from the Labour Party has not been implemented. Most of the stuff they've tried to implement wasn't in the manifesto. It's like they're just taking the mick out of the whole British public. And I think I've had enough, you've had enough, people watching the show has had enough. Somebody said to me last night, surely we should be having another general election. Well, they won't even have one of those, Mike. It won't surprise me if they try to cancel the next general election and Starmer's in for the next 15 years.
Well, I mean, that seems to be their MO, doesn't it? Because, I mean, they cancelled a lot of elections last year on the basis that it was all about reorganisation. They weren't quite ready to do it. And then we were meant to be having those elections this year. And then suddenly they're postponed again. And as you said, it means that a lot of people in some areas of Britain won't have been able to replace their councillors for 7 bleeding years, which is ridiculous. I mean, what's the legal position? I don't know whether you know the answers to this, but what's the legal position? Because a lot of people are saying, why don't we just stop paying council tax and then make them sit up and take notice until they give us a chance to vote?
Well, so Reform have started a legal challenge on this. And the question might be, well, if it's not reorganisation, why would the government want to not have the election? So ultimately, what normally happens in politics is the councils, those local councils, are the backbone of any political party because you get your councillors, you get them elected, and then they become kind of your activists. So when you start having your national elections, you need kind of boots on the ground to go and do the canvassing to try and assist with those kind of general elections. So what would happen is if Reform picked up a lot of seats now in the election, say in May, that would then mean that they'd have a lot more people on the kind of working for Reform at the council level, which would give them the support when it comes to the general election. So it suits Keir Starmer to not have those elections and lose some of those councillors from the Labour Party and from the Tory party to Reform. So we'll watch this legal challenge. But you're right, you know, if they say we can't have an election, well, we're not going to pay you the council tax because ultimately we elected you for a short, you know, the term that you were elected for. If you're just going to carry on, well, we'll hold off our council tax until we get there. Maybe that's the way forward.
Yeah, exactly. SOB just put a message up there saying that Sadiq Khan got an extra 4 years because of COVID, you know, almost as though it was some kind of a booby prize, you know, that we got stuck with, we got landed with him. He seems to have been in forever. Absolutely ridiculous. The big story for me this morning, though, is the front page of the Daily Telegraph. Let's talk about that because it's day 2 of their investigation into Keir Starmer, who yesterday was revealed to have basically worked for free, for nothing, to try and help prosecute Iraq war veterans, right? And he did it because his mate Lord Hermer, you know, the human rights specialist and enemy of Britain, basically said to him, you know, can you help us get a few of these soldiers put behind bars for committing war crimes in Iraq? Absolutely ridiculous. It's been called a witch hunt, right? Today's version is that Starmer suggested apparently that prosecutors should use the ECHR, the European Convention on Human Rights, to prosecute British troops, right? And it turns out that not only was he involved with a bloke called Phil Shiner, who's a disgraced lawyer, but that he contributed to a book that Phil Shiner wrote. Phil Shiner, of course, a man who completely and utterly manufactured a whole series of cases against soldiers which were untrue, which were made up, which were absolutely and utterly malicious. He's been disbarred as a result of that. Not only did Keir Starmer collaborate with him on a book in 2008. But he also appeared, I think, in 2014 in a legal case, basically, to back him up. So, I mean, Starmer has got, you know, the what you might call sort of Damocles hanging over him over this. And his spokespeople are saying, oh, no, he was just really sort of helping out. He wasn't really doing anything in terms of advocacy for this guy, Shiner. Well, it looks like he was.
Yeah, and Starmer is in that establishment of lefty lawyers, Mike, isn't he? And you can't trust anything that he's doing. You know, the one thing we've learned with this ECHR over the last 20 or 30 years, Mike, is that it's a good pocket earner for these lefty lawyers. They'll use it against the migrant. But this is just ridiculous, you know, going after our troops. They were there, they were sent by the UK government into, you know, foreign countries, and they've gone there, they've done the job that they were asked, and then to start trying to prosecute them. No, we should be looking out for our veterans and those people who've gone and served the country. Not having lawyers trying to get them, you know, kind of in the legal system. It's just absolute nonsense, this one, Mike. And Lord Hermer, you know, they're kind of in cahoots, these two. And the country basically just needs them both gone, Mike, because, you know, Hermer's a massive fan of the European Court of Human Rights. It's the big noose around the neck of the UK. You know, I think we've got the Tory party now and Reform Party saying we'll come out of it. But this is something that we shouldn't be doing, Mike. You know, what's the priority of a lawyer if they're going to go after the troops that we've sent abroad? It's just ridiculous.
I know, it is. Well, it's shameful, actually. It's worse than ridiculous. It's shameful, and he should be absolutely and utterly vilified for doing it, because we're going to be speaking, I think, in the next few days to somebody who was victimised by these fake prosecutions that were cooked up between these human rights lawyers and this scumbag Shiner. You know, people who were taken out of their homes, driven miles and miles and miles away to be questioned, you know, left to make their own way home, terribly badly treated by the establishment and by the police, all because they were accused of war crimes which they didn't commit. It's absolutely shameful.
No, and the thing is, Mike, when the troops come back, rather than look to try and prosecute them, you know, they need that support. You know, the amount of kind of people who go abroad and they fight for our country and come back with post-traumatic stress syndrome, you know, it's ridiculous in terms of the package of care that our troops get after. We should be looking to support our troops, not go after them. And basically, Mike, you know, to have the Prime Minister and all these allegations that what he may or may not have done, you know, that's just another part of the credibility that he hasn't really built up over the last 10 or 15 years, Mike. And, you know, one thing I like about your show, Mike, you've been a very big supporter of veterans over the many, many years.
We have.
Continue to do that. And I think that's the right way, Mike. You know, look after those who try to fight for our country.
Exactly. As they say in A Few Good Men, you know, we need people to stand on that wall and tell us you're going to be safe tonight and nobody's going to come to any harm because we're watching over you. And that's what the army does, and that's what the armed forces do. So we should treat them, you know, accordingly. Leave our troops alone, says Fizzy Blue. Starmer is a disgrace. Lots of you getting very worked up about this, quite rightly so. Lots of you get sending messages in that Starmer's a traitor, that he's absolutely ridiculous. One from somebody there saying that he should be prosecuted himself. It is absolutely outrageous. Let's talk a bit about migrants, because they've sort of disappeared down the news chain, if you like, in the last few days. The Times yesterday had a good piece about how a lot of people coming into this country who want to stay after their visas have run out are actually managing to stay by getting fake work visas from fake companies who don't actually give them any jobs at all, but they pay to get a work visa as if it's a real job. And yet another scandal, of course, that the Home Office doesn't seem to have a handle on.
No, and the visa system, Mike, is the biggest scam of all when it comes to the asylum system, because we talk a lot about the people coming over on small boats, but when you actually look at the asylum claims themselves, most of them are actually coming over on visas. When the visa runs out, they then say, oh, I can't go back. And they try to claim asylum. And the number one country where people are claiming asylum from, Mike, I think we've discussed this in the past, which is surprising when you think, what's the purpose of the asylum system? Is people saying, oh, I can't go home, I'm going to be persecuted, there's a war there. The number one is Pakistan. And if you look at the ONS data, I'm going to do a little blog on my Substack on this one, Mike, in a few weeks. If you look at the ONS data on travel trends, so the ONS will track where people go on holiday.
Right.
And the people that go back and forth Pakistan every single year.
Right.
Just there should be not one single person from Pakistan being able to claim asylum, but they are the number one source of asylum claims. So it's no surprise, Mike, that we've got this where people are coming over on these visas. maybe bogus visas to what this investigation's happening here. And then the visa runs out, obviously, because there was no job in the first place. But they didn't come here because they wanted a job. They came here because they wanted to claim asylum. And what happens, which is strange as well, Mark, they'll come over, they'll possibly be doing a job or a bogus job. And then when they claim the asylum, they then go into the system where we end up paying for them. Absolute racket. And what did we learn this week as well, Mike, from the Home Secretary, the 1 in, 1 out fast that we got. So we sent 350 people back. 350 people have come in from France. And we've sent 281 back. So it's not even 1 in, 1 out.
Of course it's not.
And that 281 people we've sent back, put into context, Mike, as you know, I do a lot of the data stuff. So 281 people have been sent back since beginning of September when this scheme started. We've had nearly 13,500 people come in since. But on January the 17th alone, we had 317 people come into the UK on boats. So on one day, we had more people came in than what we've sent back since September. Absolute farce. The migration system is in complete turmoil, Mike. And who's paying for it? Well, you're paying for it when you do your tax return. And you're saying you're putting more tax in because you're the one paying for it, Mike.
Yeah, and you open the papers this morning, and page 2 of The Sun, a story from Jack Elsom, who's travelling with the Prime Minister in Beijing. Chinese police will help to stop channel crossings under a deal signed between Sir Keir Starmer and Xi Jinping today. I mean, are you having a laugh? Seriously. I mean, talk about a Chinese puzzle, right? So apparently China is going to stop people coming across the channel. How? According to this piece, they're going to be. We're going to stop the engines from being delivered to the people who put the engines on the boats, and that's what's going to stop the boats coming. I mean, really? Are we really that stupid?
Oh, Mike, we talked about smashing the gangs. We talk about kind of the 1 in, 1 out farce. If China's the solution to this one, then I'll eat my hat, and I haven't even got many hats to eat, Mike. So. What absolutely?
You've got any hair either.
No, exactly. So if that's why he's gone over there, Mike, what total utter plank.
I know. There's some kind of wolf outside. I keep hearing something barking, which doesn't sound much like a dog, but anyway, we'll come back to that. And finally, the OBR proposals and sort of predictions are coming up. As usual, they're getting it completely bleeding wrong. I don't even know why the OBR still exists. Do you?
No, so the OBR was created, I think, under George Osborne. All of this work that the OBR...
Who's currently in China, I think, with Starmer. I think I saw at the end of the table.
Yeah, possibly, Mike. So the OBR, I remember when I worked for the Office for National Statistics at the time, the OBR was created because all the work the OBR does used to be done in the Treasury. And I think George Osborne at the time said, well, we're going to outsource the OBR. All it does basically create another kind of quango. It's classed as an arm's length body for the Treasury. So your forecasts are all independent, but they're all pretty close to working with the Treasury. And I think one of the Sunday papers this week, Mike, compared the OBR's forecasts to some other forecasters, and they came bottom of the league. So what have we had from the OBR? We get terrible forecasts. We had that big scandal about the leak of the budget early, where that obviously influenced the money markets because somebody accidentally published it. I had a good day that day, Mike, because I was looking through the budget, putting all the tweets out before Rachel Reeves had even spoken about it, But bonkers that was. And the OBR, more civil servants, the forecast, the one thing you can guarantee with economic forecast, I'm more on the statistical side, you can guarantee they're going to be wrong, Mike. So maybe they should be running the Met Office as well and doing the weather forecasts for us. Absolutely.
Yeah. I know. Absolutely bloody useless. Anyway, Jamie, listen, great to see you. Where can they find your Substack? Because we like to share that whenever you're on.
Yeah, well, I got a couple of tips for people, Mike. So on the YouTube Premium as well, so to watch you without any ads. If people get it, they also get YouTube Music as well. I got it. So you can ditch your Spotify subscription because you get basically the YouTube Music to replace that.
Okay.
You can get a family version, Mike, as well. I think you can have 6 members of your family. Only slightly more expensive, but you can then share that with a load of your family. So 6 people can kind of watch you without any adverts. And then Substack. So yeah, you got your Substack, Mike. I encourage people to get over and do that. And the reason that mine's on statsjamie.co.uk, so all the stuff we talk about, people can go over to the website statsjamie.co.uk, type Stat of the Nation into Google. They can find all my stuff. A lot of the clips that we do, I'll stick up as well. And the useful thing about Substack, Mike, is as soon as you put a stuff out, I think I got something this week, you put something out, go straight to somebody's inbox. So all these algorithms and all the social media sites kind of in terms of, I didn't see Mike's post on this. If they go to your Substack, go to my Substack, they'll get it direct straight to their inbox every single time. So I encourage people to get over and support both of us.
Yeah, absolutely right. Jamie, great to see you. Thank you very much indeed. The Substack business is a growing one, and by all means go and join in with our Substack, which is themikegrahamshow.com, of course, where you will get ad-free the show to watch, but also little videos that I make every day. We're going to be doing a recipe a week so that you can do that. And Lord Viking says, Mike, how was Ziggy's birthday? Was he pleased with the stick? Well, the stick, which of course came very kindly from one of Pooch's dogs, basically is in the back of my car, because I didn't get to see Ziggy yesterday, unfortunately, because he's down in Sussex and I'm up in London. Ziggy's mate's outside, says Mr. Fish and Chips. Yeah, some kind of howling wolf out there. I don't know where it's come from, but it's quite noisy. We'll bring you details on that as we get them. But yeah, no, Ziggy had a great birthday yesterday. He had a lovely walk in the woods, not the ones where he's not allowed to park anymore, but some new woods, which he's discovered. And he had some very nice food, which is all he cares about, really. Robin DeHood says, like, subscribe and enjoy. Yeah, please do that. Please like the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. We've got 126,000 subscribers now. We'd like to get 226,000, so get on with it. You know, start subscribing, get yourself there. Chris Morrissey says, Starmer would put a chronic insomniac to sleep. Keep up the great work, Mike and Pooch. And Welshman says, great show, Mike. As always, your impersonation of Stasi Starmer is uncanny. It's almost as though he's in the room. Excellent. Well, I wish he wasn't in the room. Jamie, what a fantastic interview, says Simon. Thank you, Simon, very much indeed for that. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to speak to Donald Cameron MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod from up north in Scotland. He's brought a bottle of Buckfast with him, which we're not going to drink until later, because obviously that would be wrong. It's only 8 o'clock. It's 8:05, actually. And we're going to find out from him what's the state of the hospitality business in Scotland, which is just about as bad as it is here. One of the stories this morning in The Guardian says that a University of Southampton study has said to Labour, if you don't sort out Britain's high streets and get them back working again and get them opening up again and get shops back in the business of actually selling again, you are going to lose massively at the next election. But of course, knowing Labour, they'll just cancel it, won't they? Morriman says, liked, subscribed, enjoying. Morriman, very kind. Thank you very much indeed. Right now, though, with a look at the early parts of the newspaper business, we'll be doing that in a moment. Right now, it's time for the news with Edward Hughes.
Good morning. Here is the news for today, Thursday, 29th of January. I'm Edward Hughes, rise and shine. The UK headlines are buzzing this morning. Prime Minister Keir Starmer is in Beijing making history, the first UK leader to visit China in 8 years. He met President Xi Jinping at the Great Hall of the People, pushing for a more sophisticated and deeper relationship amid global chaos. Starmer called for stronger economic ties, climate cooperation, and tackling migrant smuggling networks. Xi urged both sides to rise above differences and build a comprehensive strategic partnership. What a plank. It's a big thaw after years of frost, with trade and stability on the line as Trump shakes up the world order. Elsewhere, a shocking attempted robbery in Salford, an 80-year-old man arrested after allegedly tying up a 95-year-old woman and demanding cash. Police are investigating. Debate heats up over a potential social media ban for under 16s. Lords backed it, but government wants to see Australia's results first. Parents and teens are split. Plus, Dame Sarah Mullally confirmed as the first female Archbishop of Canterbury. Historic moment for the Church of England. That's the UK pulse right now. Big diplomacy day. What's your take on the China reset, Mike? Later's Tigers?
Listen, it's not for you to ask me a bleeding question, Mr. Hughes. I don't want to answer you. He's asking me about China. Get lost. The poll is up. What's the world's most useless weapon? Is it a potato gun? Is it a rubber band? Or is it Keir Starmer? I mean, obviously, as you all know, what you would not be surprised to know, 97% of you think it's Keir Starmer, the world's most useless weapon. Shall we have a little look at what he said to Xi Jinping just before we talk to Donald MacLeod? Have a look at this. Keir Starmer sucking up to the world's biggest dictator.
President Xi, on behalf of the entire delegation, can I thank you for such a warm welcome to China. As you have said, this is the first.
I was going to put that picture out, and I thought I probably shouldn't.
Prime Minister in
Is
8
Donald
years.
the first gay guest we've had?
To my mind, far too long. And I'm very pleased to be the Prime Minister that comes here for the first time in 8 years. Not in fact my first visit, but my second visit to China, so it's very good to be back here. I'm delighted that I have a very strong delegation with me. All my top advisors, top ministers, but also a big delegation. We have
I'm going to interrupt
nearly
this, right?
60 great British businesses and cultural organisations travelling with us.
Yeah, shut up.
And these
just get off.
businesses...
Who's that bald guy next to him, right? I don't know who that is. I think George Osborne's up at the end, and he's got Peter Kyle. He says he's got my top advisors. Well, he hasn't got Rachel Reeves with him. He hasn't got David Lammy with him. He hasn't got Yvette Cooper, as far as I can see, with him. Who's he got with him? Who are his top advisors? You got Morgan McSweeney. Mark says one dictator to another. Unbelievable. I've got a message from the mother of my children here. It says, I'm not sure you should be allowed near Donald during the week. You need to behave. He's here. Donald MacLeod of the Clan MacLeod. Very good morning to you, sir. Very well, much better than last night.
Oh my God, last night.
Well, here's the thing, right? We went to this bar in Borough Market where I used to go quite a lot, where I haven't been for a while, and it was very nice to be there. And as soon as I arrived, I got there just a few minutes before Donald, and I said, I'll have a glass of Whispering Angel, which is what I like to occasionally drink. And they said, oh, do you know we've got a special? And I said, what's that? And they said, we've got half-price bottles of wine. And I went, oh, Christ. So instead of getting the Whispering Angel, I got a slightly cheaper version, which would have been 40 quid, but it was only 20 quid for a bottle.
Fantastic.
And then you said you didn't want to drink it.
No, I thought it was going to be vomit. I'm not a great rosé fan, but
you then drank half of it, so we had to get another one. And then he decided to get a bottle of red, so we had 3 bottles between us in about 2 hours.
And then, what was it, limoncello?
And then some limoncello. But we weren't talking business, though, weren't we?
Were we?
We were, yeah. We were sorting out. We were sorting out the show. We were sorting out, what we were going to do today. You've come down not just to do this, but also Plank of the Week.
Plank of the Week, and some of the wine tasting in here.
And you brought a bottle of Buckfast.
Wreck the Hoose Juice, as they say in Scotland. F Fast is another one. What was the other one? Coatbridge Champagne.
That's it.
That was
it. There's a place I haven't thought of for a long time.
Oh yes, and the Devil's Tonic.
Yes.
So
it is actually made by monks, though, isn't
it? There we go. We'll put that.
Thank you very much. I once did a taste test on this when I was doing that show at Talk 107 in Edinburgh when I started my radio career, and I declared that I was going to drink Buckfast in one of the shows from midday on. And literally within about 10 minutes, I was completely bluttered, as usual say.
Well, liquid speed, but I mean...
It's only 15% alcohol, but it's
minging.
It's horrible.
It is, but we're going to taste it anyway.
It says high caffeine content, not recommended for children. Really? I mean, they have to put that in Scotland.
that enticed them, didn't it? That said, well, that's not for us, so let's drink it.
Also not recommended for pregnant or breastfeeding women.
Tell that to half of Scotland.
I know.
The Scots love it, so do the Irish, So,
well, anyway, listen. Well, we've got Chris Walkie coming in with some proper
wines.
Some sparkling wines, I believe. Not quite sure.
I'll just tell you about Buckfast. Once, early days, back in the days of the garage starting up.
Which, of course, is the world-famous nightclub that you own.
World-famous nightclub, yeah. And we decided to do a Buckfast night, £1 a pint.
Right.
Buckfast, just to make it. And within about 24 hours of that, the Sunday Mail had to put a double spread, Disco Death. And the councillors and the licensing board were all piling in.
Oh, God.
Saying, you will not have a licence, you sell this.
I mean, you wouldn't want to drink
£2 a pint then,
Yeah, right. You wouldn't want to drink a pint of that, would you?
Oh, no, I wouldn't, and you wouldn't. But
that's a rather splendid jacket you've got on, by the way.
Yes, this is another fine jacket from Sir Tom Baker in Soho. Yeah, my tailor, he's... he does all the clothes for like rock bands, Depeche Mode, and
does he?
Led Zeppelin. And you walk in, and he looks massively awkward, but he's brilliant. Ginger hair, punk rock, punk rocker, and he learnt his craft. Made in kilts in Selkirk. He's about 6'3".
Oh, is he Scottish?
And Scottish, and a lovely guy, absolutely brilliant. And he comes in, and you phone him up and say, send me some mad jackets. And he also, I don't know if I should show it to camera, but
you probably shouldn't. Yeah, I mean,
you'll do it anyway.
We actually unveiled that as we took a picture last night, which I was going to put out on the Substack, but I may well do that. Lots of stuff to talk about this morning. I mean, incredible, really, that Starmer's in China when all of this nonsense is going on at home that he should be fixing. And as it turns out, you'll get a kick out of this, because one of the people that's gone is the person from the Museum of Scotland, and it's like he was making out that all these like world sort of top CEOs were going, people who run companies, and there are some of those. There's a guy from HSBC, a bloke from PricewaterhouseCoopers, a guy from KPMG. Yes, and that's all fine. But all these museum chiefs have gone, like the head of the Natural History Museum, the head of Museum Scotland, the mayor of West Midlands is gone. Why?
Grifters, a lot of them.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll be paying for all that.
Yeah, we always do, but they're going to bring one of the sort of terracotta soldiers back with them to, maybe they're doing a deal for the...
Well, you might as well put them in charge of the country.
Well, they'd do a better job, wouldn't they? Oh my God. I mean, you see that all the time. I mean, Davos, you got all these fringe people, we must attend. The Scottish government, and indeed the SNP in Glasgow, have been notorious for flying off to various summits. The from COP26 onwards, there's always a contingent going out, no matter where it is in the world. And you go, why?
Well, I think
you've just ruined Glasgow, you've ruined Aberdeen, this net zero nonsense, and but they still fly out. Oh, I think
Ed Miliband took something like 200 people with him to Brazil for the last.
It's shocking.
It's
just leave them there. That's what they should do. Honestly.
Yeah, absolutely right. So tell us. I mean, you're in the hospitality business. We keep hearing every single day that a pub is closing. I think at the rate of one a day all over Britain. Prices are going up. Alcohol tax is going up. What's it like at the moment in Scotland?
It's awful. I mean, it's awful across the UK and no more so than in Scotland. We are the highest tax country in the UK. Right. We pay more in rates per head than those businesses down here. Right. We didn't get the relief that businesses down here
you're not getting
got for 3 years. Yeah. The Scottish government would take the monies from the Barnett consequentials and feed it into other things, whether it was pay awards to the nurses. I was told by John Swinney once, well, would you disagree with me giving that money to the nurses who do a damn good job? Yes, I would actually. I mean, because it's our money. It's money for the arts. It's money for hospitality.
And I'm not going to. I mean, there will be people that won't like what I'm about to say, but nurses are not badly paid in this country.
No, it's nothing against. He was just using that to, guilt trip. Guilt trip me and guilt trip all those, saying, "Look, where's our money?" And they were just wasting it on other things like ferries that, that don't float or don't have painted windows, or hospitals that contaminate water, which is the other big scandal up there.
That is a big scandal.
And it's terrible. It keeps getting put down. Oh, it wasn't me, Mister, says John Swinney. Oh, it wasn't me, says Nicola Sturgeon. But they're the ones that opened it before it was deemed fit.
Yes.
And to be opened. Remember, they're the ones, the same people that launched the boats.
Yeah.
The ferries before they were fitted out with painted on windows.
A lot of people won't know about the ferry story because it is a very Scottish story. But what was the scandal with the ferry story? They basically bought CalMac ferries and then
they took over CalMac. I can't remember. It sort of didn't nationalise it as such, but it's another sort of off hands. They took over the sort of running of it. I think. Don't get me, I'm no expert on this, but basically they awarded Ferguson's the shipyards the building of two ferries. 97 million was going to be the cost. It's now topping £500 million.
Christ.
The two of them are in the water, maybe it's like 10 minutes, and then another one comes. You've got to come back and get refitted. And they were meant to be the sort of new ferries, new eco-type ferries. A lot, less carbon going out. It turns out that they are more polluting than the previous ones.
Of course.
As they always do. They're harder to fuel up. They're harder to berth. But, we need the ferry. The islanders need these ferries, and they've just been let down, since the day.
So effectively, they've got a load of ferries that don't work.
Well, we had to go to Turkey and order some from over there, which they delivered them. I think I'm right in saying they delivered them, within the time frame on budget.
Yeah.
Funny that. How could they not do that in Scotland? We were known as the shipbuilding nation of the world, back in the days.
Yeah.
And that's a skill we seem sadly to have lost. But that's not. Well, I suppose that's not fair. You've got. We've built the aircraft carriers in part out at Rosyth. It depends on who's managing the project, as it always does. And if the Scottish Government go anywhere near it, you can guarantee it's going to be a disaster.
Why are governments so useless at running anything? I mean, I remember going all the way back to the Scottish Parliament. Do you remember when it was originally budgeted for something like 40 million quid and it cost 400 million? Like 10
well, we've
times
got
as much.
form.
And then I remember the other thing that they got massively wrong was because it's such a weird shape. And they ordered all the windows, and then the glass all turned up, and it was the wrong size. And you kind of go, "Oh, hang on." I mean,
it's not their money. They don't look at it that way. But
but how do they get it so wrong?
Well, I don't know how they get it so. Because they're idiots at the top. They don't have experience in build management projects. They think they do. We want it. We want a wee bit, an extra stairway, another couple of windows, but they don't go and cost it out.
Right.
Don't care. I mean, it was the same with the trams. Remember Edinburgh trams and the chaos that caused. Now, thankfully, they're up and running.
Yes.
But the cost
Well, they still don't go to the airport, do they?
No, they do go to the airport, yeah.
I thought they went somewhere near the airport.
No, it goes to the airport, and then it goes all the way back, I think, down to New Haven now. So they're expanding it.
Right.
But, my God, they dug up the whole of Leith Walk, changed all the steps, and then
then
covered it over again because they ran out of money.
Yeah.
And then they had to undo it all again. But all these businesses on that street, many collapsed and they're never to return.
Right.
If only they would talk, it's like the same when they're doing bike lanes and bus gates and introducing the LEZs. If they'd only talk to businesses and say, right, we're thinking about doing this, and then work with them in a managed programme.
And try and figure it out.
Glasgow's the worst.
You write a column on a regular basis for various different outlets and different newspapers and things, but Glasgow city centre has now been completely ruined, hasn't it? By these characters. So, I mean, you've got a club in the middle of town. You've got two clubs in the middle of town. Sucky Hall Street, which, if you haven't been there, is a one of the thriving sort of metropolis streets of Britain, and they've closed half of it off now, haven't they?
Well, I mean, what happened? What was meant to be some works at Charing Cross the last, six or 8 weeks, so I think it was about a year. This work's still going on because they kept dropping new projects in. If they were lining the walls of the Charing Cross motorway, then they would say, "All right, let us put a bike lane across the top of it," and just drop it on you. They did no consultation. Down at the bottom end, that was the laugh there, but down the bottom end, which was a pedestrianised, tree-lined boulevard. What did they do? They dug it all up to replace it with, guess what? A pedestrianised, tree-lined boulevard. Except the works...
Why are they obsessed with these boulevards? It's the middle of Glasgow, right? It's gritty.
That bloody sustenance, that's what it is. That walking and cycling.
Oh, yeah.
Real influencers on top of the government and real spongers of government cash across the country.
Right.
Hundreds of millions they get. Right. And they think this is a new utopia.
To encourage people to walk.
Yeah, but in Glasgow, let's walk from the one end to the other.
Well, it's permanently raining, by the way.
You get a bit wet, and it's a bit windy, but it's the works themselves. They just crash on with the works. It took, instead of 6 months, I think one project, it ended up being 18 months. Yeah. At the other end. So that just stops people coming into when they would come out from Queen Street Station and walk up and just see Harris fencing and diggers and a bus pram in the middle of it. It was.
I know.
And
I
that
was quite shocked. I don't know if you noticed last night, walking into the Borough Market, all the way down the main sort of walk that you do. You can't drive down there anymore because they've coned it all off. But all the pubs are kind of almost behind a fence because they're digging up the road. And if you're running a business like the Wheat Sheaf, which is a great pub that I used to go to a lot, the Market Porter, you can't actually see the pub. And they must be suffering massively.
Well, more important, there's no consultation ever with these businesses, and if there is, it's very lukewarm. We've had a talk with you, but basically we're telling you what to do. Yeah. But on the other side of that, there's no compensation package put in place.
Right.
And if there was just some measure of that put in, of the
Yeah, but then, of
millions,
course,
the
you'd get-
millions that they waste and spend on the building, they put maybe a couple of million aside to support these
But then
businesses.
people would say, but that's public money, and why should you get it? Wouldn't they?
Well, they do that anyway. I mean, we get, you know, talking of which, just look at what's happening with the rates.
Yeah.
You know, that's public
Business rates,
money.
yeah. Have your business rates gone up like they have down here? You know, because we had a story a couple of weeks ago. Tom Kerridge got a pub in Marlow, which is out near Henley, nice part of Britain, nice part of sort of the southeast, very very posh, but not a particularly expensive restaurant. And he said their business rates went from 54,000 a year to 124.
I know a pub in Glasgow.
1 year.
I know a pub in Glasgow. It went from 85,000 to 360.
What?
Right, so work that out.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean
And can they afford to pay that?
I think they do okay, but no, but when you, possibly they'll have to pay it, you know.
Right.
But they're looking for obviously discounts, you know, and these discount packages haven't been rolled out in the same way that they were rolled out in England.
Yeah.
So we were denied for 3 years, and all the time, then they bang up the valuations.
Yeah.
And so, and then they capped it again at 110,000. Okay, if you live in the Highlands, you know, and across the other end of a supposed ferry route, you get them for nothing.
Right.
But down in the centre of Glasgow, or down in the big towns and cities, do not get relief as such.
And they're just getting milked.
Well, we're
basically.
getting absolute hammer because of the cap at 110,000, right? So it was 51, then it moves to 110.
Yeah.
But at the same point, the valuations go up, and between up to, in one case 400%, but you know, an average of maybe 28%. So it pushes it above the cap, so you don't get your.
But if you're running a business,
discount,
right, and you're trying to look forward to, I don't know, the next 2 or 3 years, if you're trying to budget for, you know, how it's going to go, what prices you're going to have to charge, you know, how many people you're going to need to get into the club or into the restaurant. I mean, you can't make a plan on that basis, can you?
You can, no, and generally for a lot of people, and as we've seen, you know, four pubs a day closing across the UK in the last quarter of 2025, that's the plan, sadly, for many. It's like, we just can't afford it. Now, Rachel Reeves and Rachel Thieves,
Richard the Third.
I mean, she comes back with a sticking plaster on an open wound after all the pressure to give it, you know, something back. Like, I think it was 15% or something discount. But
it's only for a short time.
Yeah, and it's only 2 pubs, and it's only 2. Well, music venues. Now, what's a music venue? A lot of people will be sort of saying, I'm a music venue because I play music, you know. But why not the whole of hospitality?
Exactly. Well, this is
you know,
what
this is what I put it akin to, Mike. You know, it's like a burglar breaks into your house, rips everything out, and then decides to go back and put a couple of bits back in. But I would think it's worse than that, because I think as he put a couple of bits back, he does a shit in your floor and then walks out the door.
Nice.
You know, so that's you know, that's the way I look at it.
It's a good early in the morning for that sort of talk, you know. But you know, McLeod doesn't care. The thing is, as well, somebody else described it as somebody coming into your house, breaking your arm, and then giving you some paracetamol for the pain, and going, you know, you'll be all right.
I've done that to people.
Yeah, absolutely right. But I mean, I'm not encouraged by the fact that in the Sun yesterday there was a picture of Rachel Reeves behind a bar, pulling a pint of Guinness, right, but into a glass of wine.
You were telling me that last night.
Into a wine glass.
Oh, they haven't a clue.
What on earth is going on?
But what on earth is going on indeed? Hundreds of more businesses, pubs, even with that extra relief, are looking at pulling the shutters down.
Yeah.
Thousands of businesses in the high street right across the UK are looking at pulling the shutters down.
Yeah.
All because we have an unfair rate system.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Amazon, these huge mega monolithic factories, they pay tiny amounts of money. Big, huge supermarkets. You know, there's an Asda big supermarket out in Livingston.
Yeah.
Pays less than me.
Right.
In rates.
That's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so they don't base it on the size of the property.
No,
they don't base it on the number of employees.
It's about turnover. They don't base it on this an overall turnover. They base it on sector. So the shops and superstores get a different poundage rate than from what pubs and clubs and hospitality gets, which is unfair. There's another club I know, very famous, I'll not mention his name because it's not mine.
Fair enough.
In Glasgow, but I mean their rates doubled, valuation doubled, pushing them over the threshold, so they can't get any relief now. The offices upstairs, bump, 3 levels of them, don't pay anything.
Really?
Yeah, but
it's a very weird system, then, isn't it?
It's wrong. It's just wrong.
But presumably, the people setting the rates would say, well, if you can afford to pay what we've just made you pay, then obviously you've got the money.
That's what they say, but the unfair, the way they've set the rates is that there was no rates and valuations, proper ones, carried out during the COVID years.
Right.
So they've just taken arbitrary figures.
Yeah.
And whacked it up.
Just whacked it up, yeah. Well, the same goes for council tax. I mean, people paying now, you know, probably
don't get me going.
twice as much as they used to pay even 5 years ago. And it's meant to only go up 5%, but it's been going up 20%, you know, 10% every single time. I mean, I think when I first got my place in London, I was paying something like 75 quid, and it's now 125 quid a month.
Well, I'm paying a lot more than that.
No, I know you are. But what I'm saying is, but this is a one-bedroom flat, right? 75 to 125 is practically 60, 70%, isn't it?
And the services are not improving.
No.
No, your bins are not getting emptied. The potholes are getting bigger and more numerous.
Right.
And I don't know what you were saying to the last guy or what he was saying to you, because I couldn't really hear it. But I think people should just stop paying their council tax.
I don't know what the legal position is on that. I imagine they would probably prosecute, but they couldn't prosecute everyone.
No, exactly. It's atrocious what's happening. It's outrageous the way they're just frivolously wasting their money again.
I know. Here's a story for you, right? This is my favourite story of the day, which I haven't got around to until now. And you won't believe this when I read it to you. You will literally fall off your chair. An exorcist was called into an NHS hospice in 2023 after staff reported seeing ghostly apparitions of a girl in a red dress. Right? So the NHS is now hiring exorcists, right, to get rid of ghosts.
Oh no.
Is it any wonder that they can't actually see any proper patients and fix anybody's health?
Have you seen The Exorcist 3 with the old women crawling along the ceiling?
No. Exorcist 1 is the only one I've ever seen. I saw a stage version, actually, a few years ago in the West End. This is the Church of England, which apparently has 40 deliverance ministers whose task is to rid a person or place of an evil spirit by which they are possessed. Right? Now, we've just got a new Archbishop of Canterbury. Right? May your God go with you. To address concerns over a string of paranormal incidents, the NHS called in deliverance ministers, also known as exorcists, to carry out these religious services using holy oil.
Oh, imagine
if you're in a hospital, waiting for a hip replacement, and some exorcist pops around the corner, right? Church was contacted about the sightings at the former Priscilla Bacon Lodge near Coleman Hospital in Norwich, where Norfolk Community Health and Care NHS Trust provided specialist end-of-life care.
Well, that's but you might come back. You might come back as something else if the exorcism was carried out
and
properly.
They say there's been quite a few paranormal incidents which have been really upsetting the staff.
Oh, no, listen,
I'm sorry.
if you go into hospital, the last thing I want I want is a priest.
I know.
Standing there throwing
holy
water over me, you know. I've got an ingrown toenail. No, I'll tell you a story about Linda Blair. Remember
I remember Linda Blair.
Well, I had
the only thing I can think of saying I can't say because it's too rude.
No, I had my dinner made by Linda Blair.
Did you?
Yes, she was married to, I don't know if she still is, married to a producer called Bob Rose.
Okay.
And when I was in a band all these years ago, we went down to Bristol.
Right.
And we're staying down there, and the producer, he was piano player, went, "Hey, Darryl, you and the band must come to dinner."
Right.
My wife will make the
dinner.
So
they lived in England at the time?
Yeah, they lived in England. And so he didn't say a word. So me and Ross and a couple of others walked in. And the big aga cuckoo, you know, pots bubbling. And she went, all we heard was, "Well, just take a seat, boys."
Yeah.
And Bob's sitting there like that, looking at us. And we sat down, and she turned around. Well, I nearly bolted out that. Yeah, honest to Christ, I expected the head to turn round first, you know.
Yeah, I know. You don't bother turning round, I'll just do that myself.
You should have seen us eating the dinner. Right, she couldn't cook, right, I'll give you that, she just couldn't, it was awful. But you were sitting there like that. Going, what is she put in it? You look back, what do you think, boys?
Yeah. And so that must have been when she was quite a bit older, though, because she was like a teenager.
No, that was 19. Well, that was back in 19. When I was in the studio, that'd be 1987.
Okay.
So, yeah,
but The Exorcist came out in the 70s, didn't it?
I so it did, because we used to try and steal the books, The Exorcist.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I remember reading it. You know, I remember reading it when I was at school.
Oh, oof.
You know. And there was that business with the crucifix, which we can't talk about on the mornings. It's too early.
Aye, that's put an image in my head.
Too early for that sort of
Thanks
talk.
for that, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much. Anyway, if you've got a rosary, get it out now and start praying. Donald's a cracking guest, had countless superb nights in the legendary garage, says Wolf, and a great spokesman for the disgraceful way the industry is being screwed over. Well, there you go. You've got a fan there.
Just the one. Is it? Come on, everybody.
Yeah.
One more comment.
Absolutely. There's another one. Is he still in Roxy Music? Says What's your name? Virginia Plain. I love Don's jacket. It is pretty cool, actually. It is pretty cool. Let's get an update on the poll, right? The poll is, what's the world's most useless weapon? Is it a potato gun, a rubber band, twice, or Keir Starmer? Obviously, 96% of you think it's Keir Starmer, which is great.
Weapon.
He is a weapon, isn't he? Absolutely
Total
ridiculous.
weapon.
Let's have a look. Should we have a look at him actually walking off the plane? Because the one thing that Starmer does brilliantly is that whenever he lands anywhere, nobody ever meets him, right? Nobody ever comes up and says hello to him.
Oh my God, he's
have a look at this. He's going, who's this bloke? What's he doing here? You know, who's he come with? Right? Absolutely ridiculous. Now, the other one I want to tell you about, this is another, sorry, you don't want to see that. Page 21 of The Sun, apparently octopus is taking over the British Isles, right? An octopus invasion is wiping out shellfish in British waters, right? It says here more than 400 tonnes of octopus, 5 times the average, are landed in 1 month last year. Shifting sea currents and warming temperatures are said to be pushing the cephalopods north from France and the Channel Islands, and they're devouring all the brown crab, all the lobster, and all the scallops.
Oh,
which is bad news.
But lobster's quite tasty. Octopus is quite tasty as well.
Octopus is quite tasty. Some people don't like eating octopus because
they're suckers.
Because they're very good. Because they say they're too intelligent.
Well, apparently so. You know. And so, what's the other one? Jellyfish are meant to be very intelligent as well.
Are they?
Have
you ever eaten jellyfish?
You know, I've never talked to one. You know,
I had some jellyfish once in a Japanese restaurant. Yeah, and I asked them how they made it. And they said,
Staggin!
No, apparently it was freeze-dried in Japan, and they put it on a plane, fly over, and then they bring it. I mean, I said this before the other day, and I didn't mean it, but sort of bring it back to life. They bring it back to so where you can eat it by putting vinegar on it. So you eat it in this kind of vinegary sauce. It's quite nice.
I've seen I would never eat anything, but I eat doner kebabs in Glasgow, you know, so
and you don't know what's in there, do you?
Exactly. But, you know, octopus is very nice. But, you know, how do they know this? How did they know that they're taking over and destroying them?
Well, because they've been catching them. It says here that more than 400...
So they catch a couple of octopuses.
Well, 400 tonnes of octopus.
What? 400 tonnes?
That's quite a lot of octopus.
Yeah, that's more than a couple, I suppose.
That's more than a couple, yeah. I mean, that'll keep you going for a while. Also, have you seen the thing that they can do where they land on a rock and they take on the colour of the rock?
Oh, the camouflage.
And they've shown. I saw a piece of film once of one landing on a what looked like a sort of it was a piece of, I don't know, masonry or something, but it was like a chessboard, and it was black and white, and the octopus goes on the top of it and becomes black and white.
I've seen the way they go into wee holes.
Yeah.
Like wow. But I'd say the only colour they are in Scotland would be blue, just like the crane there, you know, frozen.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Can you now admit that you actually supplied that crane?
I did actually supply this.
Where'd you get it from? It's a heron, isn't it? Have we got a heron of the day, by the way?
A heron, you know.
We got heron of the day.
Heron Minnon, or was it Eva Heron? What was it?
Well, we never actually decided. We decided actually the best thing to do is to let anyone who wants to give it a name call it by their own name.
Okay.
So you can call it
Harold.
Eva Heron, if you like, Hieronymus Bosch. We've got a heron today. Should we do heron of the day?
Yeah.
Aaron, you didn't do the intro though. You know that big thing you've got. This is the heron water in Dubai. There's a heron in Dubai that she sees every day, and there he is.
I think there's quite a few out there, though, isn't there? But the thing what got me when you put it on display was some of the comments. Somebody called it, that's a blue swan.
Yeah. It doesn't look anything like
I've never
a swan.
seen a blue swan.
No. Also, somebody
they had
said,
some neck.
Somebody else said, you know, would you mind turning its head round? Because I don't want to look at the back of its head. But it is turned round.
I should have got a nodding one.
Yeah. Like one of those dogs.
Ah, cracker. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
And I think the audience out there like it as well. So that's
Swordfish says this: I've had octopus on a seafood paella in southern Spain. Yummy.
That is good.
Jack says octopuses are incredibly intelligent. Absolutely right. Where's Plank of the Day, says Phil. That's a good idea. Where is Plank of the Day? We haven't done it yet. I'll tell you what, we'll do Plank of the Day in a minute. We already had a jellyfish in number 10, says Steady. Name of Bojo. Yeah, that's true. And one from Cindy who says, maybe Starmer should leave the convicting of soldiers to the military, not the British government. As such, the American military does. Do the British have a VA that helps take care of vets? Not really. I mean, that's another story that we should be very ashamed of about Keir Starmer this morning, the fact that he has been prosecuting and seeking to prosecute
I think it's disgraceful.
British veterans.
Sickening, absolutely sickening. I mean, these poor families that have lost, you know, fighting, and then you've got these guys have come back troubled from conflicts, no fault of their own, and
shocking.
They're getting abandoned. And I mean, there should be a government act put in place that actually protects them the minute they come, they come home. That there's a series of measures there for whether it's housing, whether it's able to afford the cost of living increases. There's just nothing there for them, and never has been. I wouldn't just blame Labour on that, but I think Starmer is that's disgraceful, and that could see the end of him. That type of thing, where you're going against your own military.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I know.
outrageous.
Absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. And I've completely forgotten. I'm really apologising now because it's 8:40. It's the first time I've given you a time check, I think, all hour. We've had Liam Thompson waiting to talk to us for about 10 minutes, and I must apologise.
Sorry, Liam.
Sorry, Liam. I didn't realise. I wasn't sure that you were here. Anyway, Donald McLeod, thank you very much indeed. Good to see you.
Yeah.
We'll get stuck into the Buckfast a bit later on. We'll do a bit of Plank of the Week. We'll do Plank of the Day coming up as well. Let's talk to Liam Thompson, though. He's from Crowborough Says No. You'll be familiar, of course, with the story about Crowborough. This is where a bunch of men, 540 men to be precise, are going to be put into a disused army barracks by the Home Office because they think it's better than putting them into a migrant hotel. Clearly isn't. The people of Crowborough are revolting about it. Liam, very good morning to you. Terribly sorry to keep you waiting, man.
No problem at all. Thank you for having us.
Not at all. So tell us, I understand there's another demonstration coming up this Sunday. What's the situation? How many men are currently in the barracks?
I think that's the problem. We just don't know. There's no information coming to us freely. They brought in 27 last week under the cover of night and police escort.
Yeah.
And since then, we just don't know. We've seen taxis going in and out. We've seen possibly a bus go in, but just there's no information available to us, unfortunately. So that's another issue, isn't it?
No, it is, yeah. And if you go down to where, say, the gates are of this place, this barracks, I mean, what would you see? What can you describe to me it's like? Does it look secure? Does it look like you can wander in? What's the story?
So you couldn't wander in. You struggle to wander in there. They're protecting it. They've got security there. Just for clarity, I can't go down there at the moment, but other people are going there. So yeah, I think people have been standing outside it demonstrating, but unfortunately we've seen what we've seen around the country with the two-tier policing, and people have been getting arrested and for just standing there.
Right. So is the view of the police that it's illegal to sort of picket it, if you like?
I think they're looking for reasons. You know? I think they're looking for reasons like if you're obstructing the highway, breach of the peace.
Right.
This is not new, Mike, is it? Unfortunately, this is a very similar thing to Epping. It's almost mirrors it, unfortunately.
Right. And I mean, in terms of the police and the policing of it, presumably they're having to bring police in from outside of Crowborough, are they?
Yeah, there's not enough police in Crowborough. I see Shabana Mahmood done an interview yesterday saying that they were putting funds in there, but from what I've spoken to the police, because I have to liaise with them about the protest, they were saying even if they got the funds, it would take 18 months to train them anyway. So I don't know what she's talking about there. So yes, they're having to bust them in, loan them in from other areas, which I suppose in turn makes them areas short of police as well. You know,
Well,
it
you
just
would think.
hasn't been thought through.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, are you hopeful that if your demonstrations are effective, that they will just say, do you know what, this is more trouble than it's worth. Let's just move them all out and put them somewhere else?
So, in short, no, I don't think the protests will completely stop it and change their mind, because for 12 weeks now we've had between 2,000 and 5,000, possibly 6,000 people on the street on last weekend. It was huge.
Yeah.
It's very hard to calculate, obviously, because if we don't ticket it, it's just a number, that we look at. I think they were going to do that. They would have done it, but this government aren't up for listening to the people. They're not serving the people they're supposed to be serving.
Right.
Which is a real shame. I think it has to be changed in a different way at the ballot box, ultimately now. But I think it's really important that people still come out, voice their opinion, demonstrate peacefully and lawfully, and shame this government into what they're doing and show them up for what they actually are.
And I was speaking to someone on Monday who was down there on Sunday last weekend, and they said there wasn't actually a counter demonstration, which is quite surprising. So no lefties turning up to sort of tell you you're all racists.
No, we've not had a counter demonstration. We've had a couple of individuals, shall we say, show up. No, I don't know why that is. I don't know why we haven't had a counter protest. It's very unusual, but we welcome it. I don't ever understand what their counter protest is about. If I'm honest with you, like, it's local residents, local communities, parents, mothers, grandparents, protest about the safety of their children, ultimately. So I never understand what the counter protest is about.
No, it doesn't make any sense, does it? It's like, let's bring in some people that we don't know who might be in a position to commit crime against your local community. Let's rally behind that. And you're kind of going, what? Why would you do that?
Let's advocate that, shall we? Let's advocate 540 unvetted, undocumented men. Look, we get it online. It is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. A couple of messages have come in. One from someone saying that they understand that a couple of these migrants absconded at the weekend. I don't know if you know anything about that, do you?
So we believe they did. We've asked for information from the police, and that hasn't been forthcoming, which I think is really worrying. We don't have any trust in that now, unfortunately, because they're under a lot of pressure not to lose these migrants, so they're not going to admit to it. And also, they have 7 days to come back. And let's be honest, they're not coming back after a day, are they? They've gone.
No. That's ridiculous, isn't it? The problem is, as somebody points out here from Jack, says, Liam, sadly, this government is incapable of shame. Epping went on for months and nothing changed. And in fact, even when the local council said that the hotel had to close down, the Bell Hotel, the Home Office overruled them. And they have to keep it open and keep the migrants in there.
Again, that's shameful, but at least Epping Council, I don't know too much about Epping Council, but at least they took them to court. Down here, we've got a Lib Dem Green Party coalition, and they have been absolutely shameful. Rachel Milne and James Partridge, they should hang their head in shame.
Right.
They haven't updated the public, they haven't kept the public safe, and they've been very slow to react to it. And they've given us no information whatsoever.
And do you know whether the local council is getting money out of this? I mean, will they be being paid by the Home Office perhaps to house these people?
So they will get some money out of it. That came to light, and we questioned whether that would go into Crowborough directly, and they said it would go to Wilden Council, Wilden District. Wilden District is huge, so it might not even tackle the problem.
Right.
It won't tackle the problem. It doesn't matter how much money you're getting, it's not tackling the problem. The schools aren't set up for it. There's no large gates around it.
Yeah.
This is a very safe Middle England community.
Yeah.
It's not in a city. It's not a large town. It's a small rural town in Middle England. And there's picket fences around the nurseries. There's low fences around the schools, and people are scared. People are taking their children out of school. This hasn't. They've had 12 weeks to set up, and we haven't seen anything. No change whatsoever. It's been left down to the locals to do. We've got a fast reactive response unit that have formed out of local volunteers that do a great job.
Yeah.
We've got an action group that's taken Home Office to court. We've got Crowborough Says No that has been successfully putting on the protests, and there's been nothing from the local authority or anybody at all in support of us.
Right. Shocking, absolutely shocking. Well, Liam, listen, keep up the good work. We're with you all the way, and I'm sure we'll be reporting in on Monday from what happens on Sunday. So we'll maybe talk to you again then. But as I say, you certainly got the support of all the people here and the people watching formerly disused army barracks. It seems as though local people's views and local people's opinions don't matter. Absolutely shocking. We're going to speak to Tim Montgomery very shortly, I think, if he's still there. I don't know, Pooch, is he?
No.
He's not. Okay, so we'll come back to that. So here's what we're going to do instead. Why don't we do a bit of Plank of the Day?
Hello, it's Plank of the Day time.
And Plank of the Day time, for me, is all about the lovies today, because there's a piece on the front page of the Times where it shows a picture of King Charles and Camilla. It says, "Monarch at the movies." The King and Queen were joined by a host of stars at Windsor Castle last night for the premiere of a film called Finding Harmony, A King's Vision, which is apparently a documentary about King Charles's environmental campaigning. And as you can imagine, it's full of the usual suspects, right? In the pages of The Sun, pages 8 and 9, it's got the stars flocking to Windsor for Charles's film launch. And of course, you've got Dame Judi Dench, you've got Alan Titchmarsh, you've got Sarah Beanie, who's she? Sir Kenneth Branagh, all lovies of the Green Brigade, all lovies of eco-warriordom. Also, you've got Benedict Cumberbatch and Sophie Hunter, Rod Stewart and Penny Lancaster, who I actually like, so I'm not going to include them as the lovies. But Matt Wilkinson has had a look at the documentary Finding Harmony, A King's Vision. And it says here, the idea of a streaming giant making a documentary about the monarch would once have seen Buckingham Palace running for the hills, but Finding Harmony, A King's Vision on Amazon Prime Video is nothing like Harry and Meghan's 6-part documentary or Her with Love, Meghan, which are both on Netflix. I watched Charles's 90-minute film at Windsor Castle yesterday and found it an honest, warm insight into what has driven his campaigning for 50-plus years. Well, that may well be. And you may well like the idea that King Charles is, in fact, a Green campaigner because he's been doing it most of his life. I just don't like the idea that all of these lovies pitch up Kenneth Branagh, Benedict Cumberbatch, Alan Titchmarsh, Judi Dench, and they all, pat each other on the back about how brilliant everything is and how wonderful they all are and how caring they all are. Well, I couldn't give a stuff, quite frankly, so I'm going to make them all, the lovies, the green lovies, planks of the day.
It's Plank of the Day time.
Now, let's just move to politics because, of course, old Keir Starmer's in China. God knows why. I don't know why he's taken all the people that he's taken with him. He says he took 60 CEOs and leaders of business, but it turns out that quite a lot of the people he's taken with him are actually people who work in the museum sector for some reason. I don't know what they're doing there. And lots of other people who work for sort of some rather, what you might describe as, Quango-type operations. And he's also taken the mayor of the West Midlands for some bleeding reason. Let's talk to Tim Montgomery, who is... that's not Tim Montgomery. Who are we talking to?
Gavin Ashenden. You're talking to Gavin Ashenden.
Gavin Ashenden, I'm terribly sorry. I thought you were going to be Tim Montgomery. So now we're not going to talk about China. Instead, we're going to talk about the Church of England. But let's kick off with this remarkable story.
It's a great pleasure to be mistaken for Tim Montgomery. Huge promotion for me.
I know. Listen, get a better disguise next time is all I can suggest. NHS hospice hired exorcist after visions of girl in a red dress. I didn't realise, I thought it was more of a Catholic thing, that the Church of England has 40 deliverance ministers, apparently, whose task is to rid a person or place of an evil spirit by which they are possessed. I had no idea.
Well, it is a Catholic thing, but as in so many things, the Church of England borrows its ideas from its Catholic parents, but it doesn't really know how to manage. It doesn't know how to manage them very well. So it can't quite work out whether it believes in evil or not. But the Catholic experience is that evil is real, and every Catholic diocese has an exorcist, and on the whole, they're very effective. So when there's a problem of a serious evil infestation, people normally call for the Catholic priest. They don't call for the Lutheran pastor or even the Church of England vicar very often. But the difficulty is, as you'll see from the person having written the history, the Church of England can't make up its mind whether it believes in this stuff or not. So on the whole, it doesn't practice it.
Right. A bit difficult to rid a hospital of an evil spirit if you don't know if it's there, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it really is, yes. Even if it is there, it can be quite difficult. But if you don't think it's there and you don't know what it is, it gets much more difficult.
Right, absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, this apparently has been going on in quite a lot of different places. This is particularly the Norfolk Community Health and Care NHS Trust, which provides end-of-life care. The hospice has got a chaplain who emailed the Diocese of Norwich in 2023 describing some paranormal incidents which have been upsetting the staff. I don't know how you would measure something like that. I mean, is there a sort of Church of England guide as to how to work out whether something is a paranormal event?
You're quite right. Measuring it's difficult. Actually, the most helpful measurement came from an Oxford biologist called Sir Alistair Hardy, who had some very strange paranormal experiences in the First World War. Went away as a research scientist to Antarctica between 1921 and left a message in the Oxford News saying, if you've had any experiences like this, drop me a line. When he came back after 3 years, he was overwhelmed with the amount of information that people had. The thing is that the spiritual world, or the non-physical world, is real, but we're one of the most primitive cultures. We've been swallowing scientism for a very long time, and we don't really have the capacity, the discernment, the wisdom, the experience to distinguish between what's mad and what's bad. But that's the first distinction you have to make.
Yeah, indeed. A couple of quick messages while we're on. Gavin, good morning, Mike. Can you get Catherine Porter on your show? Knows her stuff on climate con. I love your show. That's from Glyn. Glyn, thank you very much indeed. That's a super chat. Yeah, we have had Catherine Porter on already, actually, and we will, I'm sure, be getting her on once more because she is very, very well versed in all of that climate change stuff. My hubby Jacob is now a big fan. We both enjoy your show, says Cindy. And Lord Vader in Malaysia. Is it really you? Follow the money. The entire migrant crisis is a money-making exercise. Lawyers, NGOs, hotel owners, security companies, councils, anyone who has facilitated any part of this process is guilty and should be held to account. Keep those super chats coming. Thank you very much indeed. We're talking to Gavin Ashenden, who is our man with his finger very much on the pulse of what goes on inside the Church of England. You've got a new Archbishop of Canterbury, started pretty much this week for the first time in the job. First time a woman's been Archbishop of Canterbury, I suppose. Unless, of course, you can tell me something I don't know about the history of the church. Some secrets that we weren't aware of. And apparently there was a bit of heckling for her on her first day.
Endorsed on this mandate is a certificate which verifies that public notice was duly given as required and that no person has appeared in opposition to the confirmation.
And as perhaps might have been expected, an announcement of disagreement.
I'm not sure what that heckling was. I couldn't quite hear it. What was the gripe exactly?
Well, the gripe is that they've been looking for someone to be Archbishop who's got a clean hand with with safeguarding. And the trouble is, Sarah Mullally hasn't. There's several scandals in the Diocese of London where she's been, and there's a great deal of criticism from the victims that she's covered them up. So this is a really, it's a piece of serious incompetence. The Church of England is so determined to have a woman Archbishop that it's just taken one who's got a very bad track record for dealing with exactly the same issues that made Archbishop Welby resign. I think there's I don't mean to over-egg this, and I'm not scoring any points, but I think there's a very real possibility she may have to resign within, I don't know, a year or so. Because there's a crisis brewing under the surface. They won't deal with it. And quite rightly, the victims are saying, but look, you're just doing the same thing all over again, and you've chosen someone who has lamentably failed to deal with this sexual abuse. Why have you done that? So I think there's still some accountability to be had.
Yeah, I think that's unfortunate, isn't it? Because obviously she's the 106th Archbishop of Canterbury, which is a remarkable number, really, when you think about it. And it was a retired vicar, apparently, who was actually doing the heckling. So, I mean, it wasn't some kind of scrote who you might expect to be from Just Stop Oil or something like that. But it is, I mean, it's worse than careless in a way, isn't it? Because you would think that one of the first things you would do if you were appointing a new archbishop, regardless of whether it was a man or a woman, after what happened to Justin Welby, would be to make sure that they were literally cleaner than clean, whiter than white, and completely and utterly unabashed or untainted by any scandal.
You would think so. I think it's part of a wider thing in our society so that the ideologues refuse to be accountable. They're so determined, if you like, fundamentalist about their views, that they lose a sense of practical practical common sense. Well, once again, I think this is the people who run the Church of England simply refusing to recognise they've chosen a flawed candidate and they need to look again. It's not unlike the way that the police work and that the government work. They just refuse to take account of the people's views and imagine they're beyond the law because they're so utterly convinced of their own righteousness.
No, quite. And do you think it's as well, we're getting messages coming in from various different points saying, one here from Alison, as a Christian, we don't want a woke archbishop. Is there that kind of, infestation of wokery in the church now?
Well, absolutely. I mean, the whole business of slave reparation. And I'm afraid to say feminism too. The difficulty about this event is it's a triumph of feminism. And on the whole, feminism doesn't have a very good record. We need a balance between the sexes. We don't. But what we're getting is a kind of feminist revenge, which is driving men out and the whole developing toxic masculinity. So this is a generation of feminists who've got their hands on a big prize. But they've made a terrible mistake. They've chosen somebody who's insufficiently competent, and I think that will show.
Yeah, that would be awful, wouldn't it? I mean, it would really be a massive blow to the church, wouldn't it, if she did have to resign, as you have predicted?
Well, it will, because again, it's a sign that of incompetence. It's not that anyone has anything against her as a woman. She's an incredibly talented woman. She's got to the top of 2 professions. Everyone should give her credit for that. But she's got to the top of the profession in the Church of England, despite having failed at the most basic requirement, which at the moment is safeguarding victims of sexual abuse. I mean, that's the currency of competence in this regard. And so I'm not exaggerating. I think that the pressure for her to be held accountable will grow to the point where, just like Welby, she'll be unable to cling on to office.
Yeah, and that would be a massive scandal. Gavin, great to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Gavin Ashenden there talking to us about the new appointment of the first female Archbishop of Canterbury, already mired in a scandal before she's even started. I mean, this is her first week. She's already been heckled inside the church at the opening ceremony of her being unveiled. And of course, it turns out that safeguarding is a problem, and it turns out that she has not had a good track record on that. Bavaria says the C of E is going down the woke road of no return and will lose many more followers. I think so. Lots of you have got things to say about this, actually. The C of E, not a good choice. Another downfall, says Sue. Margaret says, I bet she'll cling on all right. They always do. Sadly, the Church of England has lost its way, says Maxine. Sue says the Church of England not a good choice. Exactly right. This is amazing. I'm reading them out and then they're popping up here. Someone chosen for incompetency like the rest of the nation, says Defo. And one from Twook, who says the Church of Immigration Land. Lord Viking says Gavin's a good guest. He really is. He's excellent. And I'm sorry I'm mislooking for Tim Montgomery. We've had one of those funny days today where Tim Montgomery didn't manage to make it onto the show, even though he was meant to. And also our paper reviewer didn't show up for some reason. But never mind. It wasn't the end of the world. We've got some clips for you because coming up now, the extra half-hour show, because it runs now until 9:30. Normally we do this on a Friday, but we're doing it this week on a Thursday, and it's got absolutely nothing to do with the fact that Donald McLeod's here, who insisted that if he was going to come down to London, he needed to get a drink in him before 10 o'clock in the morning. So that's what we're going to have to do, I'm afraid. So Chris Walkey's here. He's got some delicious sparkling wines for us, I think. I'm not sure quite from where, but we will be putting this out as a proper programme, and it's called a Plonk of the Week, of course, now, even though we started off with On the Piste with Mike. Plonk of the Week goes out Saturday night, 7 o'clock. We will tell you exactly what wine you need to buy so that you can go through it with us as we taste it. And we're going to be also putting out a list of all the other things that we'll be tasting too, because we won't just have one bottle, we'll have several. And then we're going to film Plank of the Week, so that should be quite amusing. Kelvin Mackenzie's coming in for that as well. Loads and loads of you are sending me really, really nice messages. I'm going to Orthodox Church this week for the first time, says Spooky. Okay, and Roxana says, I agree, Bibles have been translated incorrectly so many times that many messages have been lost, possibly on purpose. Maybe so. Lord Viking says, Graham's Gremlins should be a segment like you used to do on Talk. Gaffs of the week. We could do that, actually. It might actually be longer than the real show. But never mind. Listen, it's coming up to, what is it, 3 minutes past 9. We'll give you a time check. We haven't seen many clocks for a while. Should we give them some clock action, if you've got that? 3 minutes past 9, because it's time now, there we are, for the news with Edward Hughes.
Good morning. Here is the news for today, Thursday, 29th of January. I'm Edward Hughes, rise and shine. The UK headlines are buzzing this morning. Prime Minister Keir Starmer is in Beijing making history, the first UK leader to visit China in 8 years. He met President Xi Jinping at the Great Hall of the People, pushing for a more sophisticated and deeper relationship amid global chaos. Starmer called for stronger economic ties, climate cooperation, and tackling migrant smuggling networks. Xi urged both sides to rise above differences and build a comprehensive strategic partnership. What a plank. It's a big thaw after years of frost, with trade and stability on the line as Trump shakes up the world order. Elsewhere, a shocking attempted robbery in Salford, an 80-year-old man arrested after allegedly tying up a 95-year-old woman and demanding cash. Police are investigating. Debate heats up over a potential social media ban for under-16s. Lords backed it, but government wants to see Australia's results first. Parents and teens are split. Plus, Dame Sarah Mullally confirmed as the first female Archbishop of Canterbury. Historic moment for the Church of England. That's the UK pulse right now. Big diplomacy day. What's your take on the China reset, Mike? Laters, tigers?
I'm Mike Graham, and this is the Mike Graham Show. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is free, it doesn't cost you any money whatsoever. But if some of you, of course, don't like the adverts, we can always give you a way around that. What you can do is you can sign up for YouTube Premium, which means you'll watch it ad-free, or you can join our Substack, which is the MikeGrahamShow.com, and for £1 a week, you basically get to watch the show completely ad-free every single morning from 7 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. And it does really, really help us if you like the YouTube channel and if you subscribe to it as well. And that doesn't cost you a penny. So you can do that and push our subscription numbers up. We're already hitting over 5 million views. We've got 126,000 subscribers already, but we want to make that bigger and bigger and bigger because that really does help the channel. The adverts that do appear, of course, on YouTube are put there by YouTube, not by us. There may come a time when we schedule ads so that we know exactly when they're coming in, but do forgive us if you're watching the show and the adverts do come on. But as I say, we really, really want your support. We really, really value it. And if you can join our Substack for £1 a month, that would be great. If you just want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, that would also be great. Have we got any other messages, Pooch, for the good people? What they get on Substack is they'll get a little video from me every day about what I'm up to. Yesterday, I was on a tube train, and I'll tell you all about what happened then. Quite an interesting story. You'll also get little blogs. You might get an occasional recipe from me as well, maybe at least once a week. We're going to try and do that. And all sorts of other goodies that nobody else will see if they're not part of the Substack community. So do sign up to it, themikegrahamshow.com. Do sign up and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. It doesn't take any time at all. It doesn't cost you anything, but it pushes our numbers up and it really helps the channel. So thank you very much for your support so far. We're looking forward to going into our 5th week very soon. The first month of the Mike Graham Show has been a great success. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to Pooch. Thanks to Charlotte, who puts it all together behind the scenes. And we'll see you every single morning right here, Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. I've been told to hold this up right in front of my face, but apparently when there's something in it, there's nothing in it at the moment because it's about to be filled, or at least, given a little bit of a soup song by Chris Walkie, who's here. Chris, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Welcome to Thursday edition, unusually, of Plonk of the Week, and of course, formerly known as On the Piste with Mike Graham. We've got a special guest today as well. Donald Cameron McLeod of the Clan McLeod has joined us from Scotland. He's had a little sleep since he was last on. And as you can see, Donald, we've got a vast array here of... we've got a vast array. He's always got stuff with him. No, shocking. A vast array of what looks like some very nice-looking sparkling wines. I have to tell you, actually, Chris, last week, I don't know whether you've heard this from Pooch, but we obviously don't drink all of it, as you might expect, particularly because we've got work to do, and we've got to do for Plank of the Week after this as well. So we put a couple of the bottles in the fridge, and it's a horizontal wine fridge, right? Yeah. So you have to lay the bottle down, and we managed to put the corks in. And Pooch was, am I allowed to say this? Was having a bit of a nap on the sofa because he didn't want to go home in case his wife gave him something to do. And, he said there was suddenly this huge explosion. And
Really?
one of the corks just shot out of the bottle, shot the door open, and poured all this champagne all over the rug. So which he then had to clean up. And I had the same experience because I put a couple in the car.
You said in the car, yeah.
And one of the corks popped as I was driving down the M25. But luckily it didn't actually, splash over me or anything like that. But
you got to be careful. You got to be careful. I nearly took an eye out once.
Absolutely, got to be very careful. So if you are going to drink this stuff, and you're going to put a cork in it and put it in the fridge.
If you are going to drink this stuff.
Put
a teaspoon in it.
Just be well, the teaspoon. Yeah, actually, it's a good question. That why does the teaspoon keep it fresh?
I think it's a
How
kind
does
of an
that
old
work?
wives' tale type of thing. It does seem to do it. I've got no idea. There must be some kind of chemical reaction, or it just knows how to behave in front of a teaspoon.
Because there's air coming around the spoon.
Yeah,
So
Who discovered that?
I know. Who's doing that?
And why can you not put a fork in there?
How pissed were they?
Or your finger. But drink it. Drink's the easiest thing. If you
Just
get
finish
drunk,
it.
just finish it.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
just-
Right. Well, is that what
Now,
we're doing?
Donald's also brought along a bottle of
Oh, he's been
Buckfast.
very.
Yes, there we
which,
go,
of course,
mate. You
is
can
the,
show that. The commotion motion.
The Devil's Sports.
I know.
Spawn,
That
or
is
whatever.
wonderful.
Have you ever tasted that?
I have, unfortunately.
Have
Yes,
you?
I have.
Everybody says unfortunately. It's one of the biggest sellers in Scotland.
Does anybody ever put sparkling wine, champagne, and Buckfast together? And if they
I
did,
think listen,
would
I
it have
think
a
there's
name?
been all manners of connotations, a wee bit of lager, a wee bit of Tennent's, a wee bit of Guinness, or even
I mean, it's
whiskey.
sort of a Kir Royale, except with a different name.
Without the cassis.
We
and
might have
such.
to try that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what
yes,
we got
sir. Well, okay.
today?
So we're going to do our normal supermarket under £10 from Aldi, £8.99. We're going to go for a Cremant.
A Cremant, which I'm a big
Cremant
fan
de
of,
Loire.
actually.
So that's what we're going to go
Oliver's
for.
here today. Last week he came with his protective clothing. Today he's obviously feeling more confident that he's not going to cover himself.
They're the best braces ever. They're just fantastic.
Oh, very good. Well
There
done.
we go.
Well done, that man.
So we're going to try a glass of bubbly to start things off.
Yeah. And the difference between Cremant and Champagne is that obviously it's not from the Champagne region.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
it's the same kind of a drink, right?
It's very similar. It is in the same production method and maybe a variety of grapes as we go around the different Cremant regions
We'll hold that
of
up.
the 8 regions of Cremant regions of France.
I'm holding it up. There you go.
Champagne. It's all to do with the soil, the champagne.
Yes, indeed it is. And I think there's a lot more. The
Cremant de
grapes,
Loire.
the production.
I was a guest at...
Go on.
I was a guest at one of the chateaus down in Magnum, Courvoisy Chateau, many years ago.
Yeah.
And I stayed there, and the guy took us round.
Right.
And obviously all the vineyards, all the vines had been cut down because it was like January.
Right.
And they kept going on about the champagne, the other. And my wife and I are looking, I'm going, what? Champagne? And later on I says, wait a minute. Champagne, that's 200 miles away. Why you keep... That's the name for the soil.
The soil?
Champagne.
Okay.
Oh, it's like, thick as mince.
Well, quite
Well,
nice
that's
flavour.
I like that.
Quite relaxing, quite easy to drink, a little bit on the fruity, sweet side.
Now, last week we were not finishing it. We were pouring it into another glass. In case
Well, we
you
do
get
have
too-
that there in case we need it.
Well, so I've just battered it.
It's not, yeah, he's just battered it.
I'm from Scotland. Right,
Yeah.
that's my excuse.
That's very good. I mean, we haven't got time for you to tell the whole story, but last night he was regaling this poor
I heard
waitress.
something to that effect,
Poor
yeah.
waitress about this wine, champagne that he had bought.
I
which he
tried
didn't
to tell
realise-
him over there.
Which he didn't realise was what, 100
No, I mean on the grey market it was up to £1,000 the bottle.
£1,000 a bottle or something. like that,
yeah.
yeah. And they just drunk it all, thinking it was just regular champagne.
Spraying it all over
Yeah.
the place.
Oh, well.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, you've had good
La
times.
Grande Dame.
This
La
is good.
Grande
I
Dame.
like this.
Yeah,
That's
so
very
it's,
good.
it's $8.99.
Very good for
it's
$8.99 as well.
That's lovely.
Chardonnay, Cabernet Franc, Chenin Blanc from the Loire Valley.
Yeah.
So a typical French traditional method.
But
Sparkling
hey,
wine.
that's nice. It's quite fruity. It's light.
Well, I always say to Chris, because people sort of look at us strangely occasionally and go, why are you drinking so early in the morning? Well, one, we've been up since 5 o'clock.
Well,
right?
yes.
We're alcoholics.
This is, well, there is that.
4:30.
It's also, it's also because, you know, when you, I mean, this is lunchtime for me, right? I mean, if you go to work at sort of 9 o'clock in the morning, this is the equivalent of 2 in the afternoon for me.
Oh, I'm going to be bladdered by 3
Well, you've
o'clock
got to be
this
careful
afternoon.
because you've got to do plank of the week. So you can't get too...
Oh, you're telling me to be careful?
Yeah.
Why me?
Well,
I mean, you're drinking just as much.
Yeah, I know, but I'm used to it, though.
Oh, so am I.
I know.
That'll be right. I'll be falling off the chair.
But yeah, so I always say, and I don't know about you, Donald, but I actually prefer drinking sparkling wine, champagne, in the morning. Because in the afternoon or in the evening, it's like it doesn't taste.
I prefer Gaviscon.
Yeah, it doesn't taste the same. I think when you drink it first, in the morning
your palate's
say
alive
before midday.
and fresh.
Yeah, I think your palate is more kind of.
Well, I'm not going to
to
knock that because so far so good. And we're only one bottle.
We're only one
taste in.
Now this is a nice looking bottle.
So what
have
we're
we
going
got
to do, we're sticking with Cremant, but what I'd like to do is to go
Vert
up
Anglaise.
To go up a few notches here. So it's £40 a bottle. It's Cremant de Bourgogne Chablis. Right. Gary Rose, the respected chef, that was once with us, was one of the founding investors in this wine here.
Okay.
But it's £40 a bottle, so we are jumping up a few notches here. Nice fine bubbles. Can we taste the difference
It's a little
between
yellower as well, isn't it?
Possibly under the light. Always very
clearer.
hard to see. We've got so many spotlights on us.
Yeah.
So it's going to have a little bit more depth of carrots, maybe a bit more toasty, brioche fruit flavours.
Bit more sort of bubbly as well. No?
Yeah, right
Well,
away.
it's better.
In the back of the throat.
No disrespect
there.
to the one from Aldi here, but I mean it's £40, so it is.
It's nice, but I mean, for the first one that you chose there was excellent.
Yeah.
I thought just
very clean.
Yes.
Yes. This is a bit richer, isn't it?
It is richer, yeah. So if you like your Cremant, then
You've got to be a bit richer to buy it as well.
Oh, you do, but you can scale up on the Cremant side of things. So if you go for a nice cheap option supermarket, or you can scale up with Cremant.
I mean, I
as
suppose
well.
the point of drinking Cremant is that it's a lot cheaper than champagne. So if you're going to pay 40 quid for it, you might as well just drink champagne, right?
So there's a point, but there's fans of Cremant out there. Some people get a bit tired of champagne. It's something to explore.
Tired of life.
This is Kloss Fine Wines here, and as I say, it's £40 a bottle. So there's another Cremant, but we will get.
It's a bit drier as well, isn't it?
Is that available sort of pretty much anywhere?
It is. I think it's more of a limited supply, if I remember correctly. With this one, production in limited quantities.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. No.
You prefer the first one?
I prefer the first one, just I think at the time it was easier to drink.
Well, that's cheaper for us, we don't mind.
We've got, we can do a super chats while we're on, by the way. Yeah. One from Sue says, hair of the dog, Mike. Yep, absolutely right. Why not indeed? Yes.
So there we go.
You feel gaseous right away with that one.
Yes. Well, again, if there are some champagnes that you prefer to others, I guess. And I'm quite partial to some of the own brand ones. Some of the supermarkets do. Yeah. Because I always feel like things like Moet, which I've never been a massive fan of. If you're paying 35, 40 quid for a bottle of Moet, you can do a lot better, I think.
No, absolutely.
That's instant indigestion.
That's Imperial. And the Moet Imperial.
Moet or Moet, whatever you.
Gassy.
Yeah.
Is it Moet? It is Moet.
Moet. Yeah.
It is, not Moet.
Not Moet. No, that's what uncultured people say.
Well, okay, right.
Here we go.
I'll stick with Moet then.
Potential leakage over here. Oh, you haven't got the coat on.
That's exploding bottle, that one.
That's kind of gobbledygook coming up there, isn't it? A bit of Stanley Unwin on there, I think, speaking to us.
Yeah.
There we go. So we
used to call it the Champions Breakfast, says Dean. Yeah, Breakfast of Champions. I remember they used to call something else that as well. I once had a sweatshirt with that on it, but I'm not
we are going to champagne now.
£40 a bottle. I can get hammered in Wetherspoons on Carling for that, says Rob.
Yeah.
Listen, if you get hammered on Carling, I'm afraid there's no hope for you. I'd have to drink about a sort of container load.
Spumante.
Do you still make that?
Oh, aye.
Do they?
Oh, Granny Jean loves it.
What about Baby Sham? They stopped making
Baby Sham, crikey Nora.
I've got a Baby Sham glass, I think.
Did not make Baby Sham, and that was my first drink, I think, as a kid at a wedding.
Diamond White, I think they used to have years ago.
Diamond White,
Diamond White was the thing. You didn't get a hangover with Diamond White. But anyway, we are on to champagne, so you'll be pleased to know.
André de Villeneuve.
André de Villeneuve. And it's usually £65 a bottle. It's down to £45 a bottle.
Wow.
That's got a nice smell to it.
£65 a bottle. I'm holding this up, by the way.
Push it forward.
Perfectly.
Which is what you told me to
Push
do.
It forward.
Right towards the camera.
All right. Well, I haven't done it with any of the other How about
that?
It's like clockwork, this show, isn't it? Everybody knows what they're doing.
Classic blend. Classic blend. Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and so we are looking at a very good winery here. We know them quite well. They were voted the best champagne in the world in 2022
really?
At our awards in London. Yes.
Wow.
Available from Angio Wine online. And as I say, it's down to £45 a bottle. But
I like the smell of that.
It says
and
Cuvée
it's not as fizzy as that
What
last one.
does that denote anything in particular?
Not necessarily, just their special cuvee. So there's special.
What is
label.
Cuvée? Can you tell us?
Well, that's a good question. What's cuvee? It's just the kind of the label.
Okay.
Yeah. So the special.
It's the.
We're going to get education from.
Oh, right.
What is
So
it?
what's Cuvée then?
It's the recolt, the gathering of the grapes. It's the batch.
Technical, yeah.
Batch.
Oh, okay. All right. That's
So
lovely.
that label, yeah.
I've never heard of this.
Is that after they've stood in the grapes?
Yeah.
Right.
How is this such a well sort of regarded champagne when I've never heard of it?
Well, you
I
know
can't
why?
believe that.
It enters the
How have I never heard of it?
It enters the
65
competition.
years old.
It enters the competition, and the judges pick it out. And it's won trophies. It's won everything. So
Wow.
we can't knock it. It's doing something right.
Amazing.
They
I
are.
like this.
And is it? You know, most of the Champagne region is kind of centred around Reims.
These are
'Cause
just
I'm-
outside of
just
yeah,
around
Reims. Yeah, it's just outside.
Because I
Yeah.
went there on my honeymoon.
Yeah.
I've spoken about the honeymoon before. Because what we didn't know was we went to stay in Paris, and we'd been driving up from Nice. Got to Paris, couldn't find a hotel room for the life of us, right? Turned out it was Paris Fashion Week, which we didn't know. So you couldn't get into any hotel. So I was like, oh, God, I know, let's just go to Reims then. So we just sort of got back in the car after going to about 4 different hotels, and they were all going, no room at the inn. And we went to Reims and stayed in a nice hotel there. And we went to the Mum's Champagne vineyard. And that was when I first learned, as I said to you, that they put this liqueur into the champagne. When I always fancied the guy's job where he just turns it. You know, this guy, all he does, he goes down into the cave and he looks at every bottle. There's hundreds of them. He just does like that.
He just goes like
a
that.
quarter.
That's his job.
That's his job.
Yeah.
Right?
What happens if he doesn't do it that one day?
Well, I don't know. And what if he turns it the other way? You know, but to turn it one quarter revolution to the right, and he does that every day for something like 5 years.
Yeah,
right?
every day.
I wonder if he's got a twitch now. He just keeps doing that when he gets his glass and he goes like this.
That's what he does when he gets home.
Spills it.
Yeah, he can't. No, I'm not doing that.
Gentlemen.
But you know what I mean? Could be. Yeah, it's too early for that sort of thing. Narrow it down, Mike. Which honeymoon? Come on, Rob. That's not fair.
honeymoon?
I've only had one. This screen's going to turn off again in a minute.
So
It's got a different. He puts a different screen there every day, and every day it's about to turn off.
1 second.
It has hit yes on the front there.
Yes.
There you go.
Hey.
I was going to say, yeah, we was noticed Oliver was noted on the train the other day, and I think the gentleman tweeted you, and we're getting fan mail for you at Glass of Beer. Some
brilliant.
lady here, Margaret and Lisa. So that's coming through the post. So your show is doing so well.
Oh, brilliant.
Well, there you go.
She said,
little
can you
present
give this? Can you
from
give
Margaret.
this to?
Thank you.
She listens
This is
and
rather
watches.
nice paper. Look, it's got Riesling.
Yeah,
It's
I've
got-
never met Margaret, but she sent me a nice letter.
No, that's what you
and
say.
to you. Oh, yes,
Here's a little. This is from Margaret. Very nice. Thank you. What's this here? Just a little present for making us smile. Have a drink on me. That's very kind.
that is lovely, isn't it?
Lovely.
Oh, there we go. Very nice.
Where's the cheese?
That's
cheese.
yeah, you didn't bring any cheese today. did you?
Well, no, I was told not to by the boss.
Oh,
So
right.
I thought I'd best not do it. I don't want to get into trouble.
I took the cheese home
Good.
and actually had it over the course of the last couple of days. It was nice.
You surprised me.
Yeah. Got a nice card
Let's
here.
go on to this one. But
Sorry. Oh, look, it's a heron.
oh my goodness!
Hey!
Well done.
Well done, Margaret. Brilliant.
Well done.
The show has really taken off. Best wishes, Margaret and Lisa Clements. Thank you, Margaret.
That's
very kind
lovely.
of you.
Brilliant.
Isn't that
That's
great?
very sweet,
Should I
isn't
put
it?
it there? Have I
That
put
is
it
nice.
there?
On the back.
Have I put it there? Where am I? How can I not get this right?
Because you're fished.
I'll put it behind, yeah.
Yeah,
There you go.
and especially with the
Behind.
heron, that's a good idea.
There we go.
Very nice.
And a little note here as well.
Oh.
Hello, Mike and Pooch, it says. I just had to send you this lovely heron card and hope you like it. I bought myself one as it's so nice. I've sent this via Christopher. I don't know who to send to you otherwise. Hope you received the cards we sent in October. I love searching for them. The letter I sent, Mike, people who need people are the luckiest people. That is certainly true. Thousands of us, your fans, are still there for you, Mike. Hope we might be able to text or email soon. Well, that's down to Pooch. Hopefully we can do that. The Mike Graham Show, 7 to 9, still the best breakfast show on the planet. Very nice.
That
Well,
is
now
really
it's called
nice,
7 to
isn't it?
9:30 as well. And of course, the plank, the original, a little present, Mike, of wine invitations as a thank you for putting a smile on our face. Keep up the good work. Best wishes, Margaret and Lisa Clements. She's 82, one of your oldest fans. Isn't that great?
Wow.
That is very,
Isn't that lovely?
very sweet.
Thank you, Margaret.
I
Very,
think
very kind.
That is very
That is
sweet,
beautiful.
isn't it? People
This
are
is why,
nice and
you know
genuine,
what, when you
aren't they?
do this job, that's so lovely.
But
to
well
get.
done you. Well
Thank
done you.
No, it's so rewarding. I mean, you've been a great supporter of mine, as has Donald, for many years, you know, even in the wilderness years.
The wilderness.
You know. And these are
We
the
wouldn't be
invitations.
drinking this in the wilderness.
So
years,
now I'm
would
going to
we?
have to have a party, because I've got invitations now.
Well,
to
I
send
bought
out.
some wine for you to do that.
Well,
so there we
absolutely
go.
right. Anyway,
So
here we are.
we're going to go on to the next one shortly, which is going to be an orange-coloured bubbly.
Ooh.
And we're sticking to France, and this is the Alsace region. It's £22.90 a bottle.
Okay.
From the Wine Reserve. It's Pinot Gris, Muscat, Sylvanas, Gouet, Strimmer.
Pardon?
Yeah, exactly.
Say
I'm
that
not
again.
saying that again. I'm not saying that. But have a taste. Have a taste and give me your thoughts quickly on
Now,
it.
orange wine. Orange wine is a relatively
region.
new thing, isn't it? Because I first came across orange wine, I think, about 2 years ago. So it's not rosé, it's not white, it's not red, it's orange.
Yep.
So tell us a bit about orange wine.
Well, I think it's a trend. It's usually with the white grapes, and it has a longer period of time of blending with the grape skin. But
Yeah.
sometimes they may put in the pips and everything else that goes with it to give it that orange tint.
He's not very keen on it. He doesn't like look at
It's just
It's
nothing.
It's low alcohol, sir. Sorry to offend you. It's low alcohol.
It's low alcohol.
0.5%. So I wanted to say
Well, that'll
that
be why,
after.
then. That'll be why.
Yeah.
No,
but
hasn't got
just-
much flavour.
it's
Hasn't got much.
nothing
It's a bit
that's-
flat, isn't it?
Honest, it's like
Let's hold
rotten
this one
ice
up.
lolly or something like that. You know, it's just
It's called Odd Bird.
odd bird. No,
Got a few of those.
no,
Sorry.
get that cremon back.
Get that cremon back. Well, you can take the flavour out of your mouth
Odd
without pouring
bird.
yourself a
Is
little
that the
bit of
cremon?
That's the champagne.
That's the champagne.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says
then.
on the front, liberated from alcohol.
Yes.
Oh, get that to, you know,
I mean-
put that in the bucket. Honestly.
0.5. Do you know when COVID...
Liberated from alcohol.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
stop it.
When
stop
I was,
it.
well, I think I must have been during the COVID times. I went down to my local Waitrose in Greenwich, and they had this big sort of display in the middle of the floor with rosé on it. You know, and I'm a big rosé fan, as he knows. We were drinking it last night. And I picked up, I don't know, half a dozen bottles or something, got it home, realised 3 of them were bloody non-alcohol. And they put them on the same podium. And I was like, you can't do that. If you're going to have low alcohol or no alcohol wine, you can't put it with the alcoholic wine. I did the same thing in Italy when I went to buy some beer for my son Oliver, who was old enough to drink, by the way. He wasn't 7. And he was very disappointed because I came home and I bought him 2 6-packs, one Peroni and one of something else. And one of them was no alcohol.
Was it the Peroni? The Peroni do a zero
Yeah,
alcohol.
and it looks exactly the same. And they should really make it look different, shouldn't they?
Honestly, that was the colour of my piss this morning.
Yeah, thanks very much. You're not supposed to be swearing on the show, you know.
That's not swearing.
Yeah, it is.
There's a swear box in the corner.
Is that swearing?
It is, yeah.
All right, sorry.
You've
There's
sworn
£10
about
a
4
beat.
times already.
I tell you, so noticing a lot
I'll
of
tell you what, you can have that.
the comments that
Yeah.
people made on the videos, they wanted to see some non-alcoholic wines and maybe some red sparklers. So literally taking that.
No, listen, we cater to all tastes here, but I don't want any of that, thanks.
But what about a question to you?
Go on.
What's the most memorable kind of location or place you've been when you've enjoyed a glass of wine? What's that special moment for you?
That reminds me of...
Tell us.
I don't know if I can't tell the story, but it reminds me of a very funny exchange that took place at a Texas breakfast show radio station once. I'll tell you later. But I guess in terms of sort of beautiful locations, I suppose, I've been in lots of them. I remember Portugal, funnily enough, in a place that Donald actually introduced me to, a place called Pine Cliffs. They've got this amazing champagne bar.
We're going to see Pine Cliffs as well.
The champagne bar where you're sitting literally at the top of a cliff and you're gazing out onto the Atlantic Ocean and the sun's setting just as you're kind of, having your first glass, and it's absolutely beautiful. That was lovely. But I guess, so many. I mean, I proposed to my only wife on the Twin Towers, top of the windows of the world.
Did? Wow.
On the Twin Towers. And in fact, when we were trying to fix the marriage, it fell down. Literally.
That was the reason.
As I was watching it.
I honestly thought it was planes crashing into it.
No, but I thought, that's not a good sign, is it, really? No. And so, that was that. But yeah, I mean, parts of, I've been in places in Scotland where I stayed in a place called Torridon. Which
it's lovely, Torridon.
There's a hotel there called the Torridon Hotel, which you come out and there's like, sort of, those Highland cattle with the horns sitting there, and then there's a beautiful mountain range with snow on the top of it.
Absolutely, a wonderful place.
Amazing.
I wasn't in the Torridon Hotel, but it was another place.
It's got like Witches' Peaks.
I was in the Kinloch Lodge or something, which is nearby, similar.
Yeah.
And what a vista, and of course the Isle of Skye and all that.
And the Isle of Skye, we were talking about that last night, weren't we? And just so many beautiful.
There's probably too many to.
There really are, because it's a good question actually. Because I wasn't prepared to answer it, but yeah, I mean, so many just amazing sort of situations I've been in. I mean, India, sitting looking at Taj Mahal.
Wow.
I think
you could write a book on it. You could write a book on it.
Yeah, I could.
You could. Your memoirs on wine alone.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Mike, make Donald drink the orange wine again as a punishment for swearing.
Yeah.
Says Peter.
I will,
in fact, we'll make you drink that.
The
We'll make you drink the mix.
Right.
Well, no, you're not going to. He's doing
Rich
it.
is going to do it. Yeah. He is Scottish.
That's quite nice, by the way.
Is that okay?
That's the mixture of them all. The spat out remains.
Well, we've got some Chablis here.
So yeah, I thought we'd just mix it up a little bit. We have some still wines. So this is Chablis 2023 from the Champagne Route Bar in Wapping, £27 a bottle. Classic Burgundy. We've got a no there from this gentleman. So
you
obviously,
don't like the Chablis?
No, I went because after drinking that was rather nice, and then went to that, and it was rotten, so I poured it in there.
Okay.
Do you want some more?
You better have some Chablis.
Yeah, the Chablis now.
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
we were talking about this last night because when I ordered a bottle of rosé, and he was like, I don't like white wine. I said, but it's rosé. He's like, yeah, but he doesn't really. We both said we kind of in the winter.
It was rosé. I do like white wine, but a good white wine, like full of fuses.
I mean, how much would this be? This Chablis?
This is £27 a bottle.
So that's quite a few quid for a bottle of wine.
And it is, but it's Chablis, obviously.
For Chablis,
very famous.
How much?
£27.
Oh, wage. I was going to swear there again.
Yeah, you can't. You'll have to drink more of the orange stuff.
Honestly, when I had the wine company Fluid, and I was trying to tell you up there, when it went down the tubes, the pouring wine that we were selling was a Chablis.
You know, how surprising is that, right? Ladies and gentlemen, Donald once ran a wine company and it went down the tubes. I mean, imagine that. You think he might have drunk too much of it?
Let me finish the story, but I had hundreds of cases of Chablis left, and we went through them, thousands of bottles. Because it doesn't have a long life, we did take it into the clubs and back home. 4 years later, we were down about the last 6 cases of Chablis, and it was my kids, and it was rank. It was like acid. After a while, it goes right off. It's just awful white wine. And but the kids, thanks, Dad. They went through it. Honestly, it was battery acid.
Is that true then? So how long does a bottle of Chablis last then?
It's not good. Well, I would say I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't drink a white wine more than 3 or 4 years.
Really?
Usually white wines in less time. I mean, the Chablis it's not too aggressive, acidic or tannin-wise. It's very smooth. So you're probably at the optimum now. If you leave it for 2 or 3 years, it's just going to really not be too good.
And then after that,
you're not going to get the same effect. You'll probably get the same alcohol effect.
Yeah, but
maybe
just
a tummy ache to match. But,
interesting. This is nice though. I've not seen that label before. The Famille Moutarde, 2023. So that's already 3 years old. Right?
That's okay. I'm not. When I say I don't like white wine so much, I'm not too fond of the Chardonnay grape.
No, I'm not actually.
No, but this is champagne. This was Chardonnay.
This is the Chardonnay grape, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Chablis. Yeah. This was a Chardonnay within there. So what we're going to do next, actually, is something a little bit different and interesting. So we're going to take a bottle from our collection. We bought loads of wine over the time. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad.
Right.
Let's just hope it's good. It's a 2000 Chateau Hortel Côte de Bourg, and it's usually about 40 to 50 pounds. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon Merlot.
Here's a suggestion. Let's just quickly have a sample
before we ruin
of the commotion lotion. Yes. And so we all know it's going to be rotten.
Yeah.
and then we can.
I mean, I must admit,
Well, we may
we can
no,
do
listen,
it.
Let's have that, and then we have that,
Okay.
because that looks as if.
It
I'm gonna
might
enjoy
be
it.
good, it
like
might not be good.
Yeah, I can see that your already eyes are lighting up.
So,
how do
when
we
I-
serve this properly?
well,
Like,
you
is
serve it
delicate
by
way?
pouring
Is this
it.
delicate
Well,
way?
ideally,
you
first-
screw the top off, and you know, and then you point it towards the glass, and then
Should we
you
not
sort
also-
of slightly tip it, right? But I
Yes.
put that about that much in the glass. I just.
Should we not
swirl
also
it.
get some kind of park bench to sit on?
Well,
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah,
we
could
could bring
be,
the
yeah.
sofa up.
It
we
should be
could lie
served in a
it.
brown paper bag.
I mean, you start
Doesn't lie
off
over there.
No,
Yeah.
but you start off like this,
Right.
and then you end up like that. Right. So,
Well,
and
here's
going,
what I
"Hey-ya!"
well, I was going to say to Chris, because he might not know the story. When I started first in the broadcasting business, I did a show in Edinburgh called The Independent Republic of Mike Graham at Talk 107, and I'd never had Buckfast, right? So I vowed to drink it on the show once, right? And so I had a show from 10 till 1. I opened it at midday, and so I was just going to drink it for the last hour of the show. And by 15 minutes in, I was gone. I was literally gone.
Are we going to go to that show tonight, by the way?
Oh,
Good luck, everybody.
well,
Hold your
we're
nose.
meant to be going out tonight.
Yeah,
aren't we?
we're meant to
Oh,
be
yeah.
going
Oh.
out. Yeah, we're going
I
to
haven't
see
told
the
Pooch yet.
new Purple celebration. So this is to the new Purple
One of us
celebration.
is going to
See,
try
I don't
some.
mind the way it tastes, though. I actually don't mind it. It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I don't mind
It's up
it.
against the champagnes and all that's
No,
good.
honestly.
Well, it's
I don't mind
preference,
it.
isn't it? At the end of the day, you might like Ribena, you might not like Ribena. Or
I don't
it's
like
just the
it.
same.
It's a bit like a.
Do you know what? If you said to me, it's that or the orange crap, I'd be
go with
drinking
that.
this.
Yeah.
Buckfast wins over the orange crap.
What is it, the percentage alcohol?
15, I think.
15, goodness me. Well, it's there for one reason only, isn't it, really?
Well,
It's
it is
like
a tonic wine.
It's like a tonic wine, isn't
you
it?
know, you're not meant to batter it by the bottle.
Lord Viking says, how about Mike Graham's
Who's
breakfast?
going to drink that?
Mike Graham's breakfast pub.
Down in one type
Yeah.
of thing. So I'm just going to clean the glass.
got a lot of messages coming in.
juice.
I'm just going to...
Kilo says, I'm sat here in proper
That's
giggle
actually
fits. Like and subscribe, says
Well,
Lord Viking. Liquid breakfast, says
Each to their
Phil.
own. But it's okay. It's nice and sweet, isn't it? It's different, isn't it?
So you washing your glass with the orange one?
I am,
Right,
yes.
I'll do the same.
Yes, I think I messed up. But I believe
Right,
that's
I've learned a
Mike's
trick.
there.
What to do with the orange?
Who's going to water the plants?
It's to rinse your glass with it.
What, with the orange
The
stuff?
orange one.
Yeah. We might need another glass, actually.
We
No,
might
don't
need
put it in
another
there.
spittoon,
We'll
yes.
can we get another one? Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks.
Oliver.
Cheers.
There we go. Second
Look, you see, I said don't put it in there. What's wrong with you?
Now he's got to get a straw.
It's so crass.
So we're going to try the 2000. It's either going to be good or
One here,
it's
hang
going
on,
to
from
be
Blue
awful.
Van Man. You need to wear a string vest to drink Bucky.
Yeah.
Brilliant. You get the braces on as well.
Free speech for all. This is so nice and cosy. Homemade mead, says Sue. How about that? Maybe we'll have some
mead. Yeah, we've got
tasting.
mead at home. We can bring some.
Have you?
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. From Slovenia, I believe. Yeah.
Well, I'll just.
Well, he's not going to do it. He is.
Yeah.
He is.
He's a terrible man. He really is. Terrible man. Yeah. This is absolutely fabulous, says Mrs. A.
Funny guy.
Hey, I'll be lying down in a minute.
This is nice. This is from Vic, who says, I live near Bordeaux, so very spoiled for wine. My dearest mother was the first woman in the UK to pass the Diplôme National d'Oenologue and worked for Tassinger Champagne.
Oh, it was very, very prestigious.
That's
It
nice,
sounds like a
isn't it?
lovely
Bordeaux.
career. Yeah.
That's where Lewis lives.
Oh, does he?
My
Bordeaux,
brother.
yeah.
Beautiful
We're hoping to
region.
get him on the show soon, actually.
Yeah,
We
get
should
him
say-
a drink. Keep that for him.
Yeah, absolutely right. Lewis McLeod, very funny man. Went viral just last week, didn't he?
Yeah,
with
that
his,
was fantastic,
Trump
wasn't
impression. Oh, look, the cork's come
I'm
out.
not ashamed to admit I know him now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I noticed that now you're quite happy to promote him. Why sometimes does the cork do that?
Just be at the age, it's not
You
meant
just
to
don't
be
know, do you?
for that long. Yeah,
It doesn't
no, you
mean
don't
anything's
know.
bad about the wine, does it?
Not necessarily. No, as long as it's not been oxidised up, being
Because
too
one
much
of the
oxygen
things
getting in.
I think I told you one of the things I started doing in the last couple of years was there's a place in Glasgow actually called the Wine Crew, CRU, and I was buying wine from them. And you'd get things like a sort of 2001 Lebanese wine, or I bought the oldest one. I think was a 1959 Barolo.
Whoa,
lovely. And I
lovely.
said to the guy, I said, how do you know if it's any good? He's like, you don't.
You don't.
He said, you just open it and see. You know.
So your Tianellos and your old Tianellos.
And it was
are
a bit of a
fantastic.
brown colour, you know, but it actually, once you
Was
left
it nice?
it was really good. Once you left it for a couple of minutes, you know.
The thing is, you know, I like my Portuguese wines.
Yeah.
And,
that one we
I
had
go to
last night was amazing.
The Dow. And,
what was that?
It was a Dow from the Dow region.
Okay.
And it was a red, and I can't remember what year it was, but you know, it's a lovely region for red wines.
Oh, you managed to get it out.
Careful, it'll come out quickly.
But the thing is, problem is with a lot of
So
red.
you got a knife or something to stick down?
Yeah.
Because we might have one over there. Sorry.
The problem is with a lot of red wines from Portugal because they use a cork, proper cork.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes that cork isn't, when they make the
It
cork,
has a
it's not
reaction.
great, and so it rots.
Right.
And that lets in there, and you can have a
Well, that's the
fantastic.
other question, right? Is when, and you might know the answer to this, Donald, is when you have, because when I would, obviously they would send me these in the post, right? And I would say, well, so what do I do with it? You know, do I put it in the wine rack? What do I do?
Yeah.
And he would say, well, before you drink it for 24 hours, just stand it upright, so that
For
the sediment all goes to the bottom.
Yeah.
But he said one of the reasons you like it flat is to keep the cork moist, so the cork doesn't dry up.
Yeah, you've got to keep turning your wine.
Yeah, like the guy in the Champagne region.
There can be a debate on that, but generally, you keep it
So
moist,
if you're,
you keep it
if you're
fat.
buying, say, a nice bottle of red wine, I don't know, today,
Yeah.
to say drink at Christmas,
Yes.
should you lay it flat or should you keep
I'd
it
put it flat.
Definitely.
Under the
Yeah.
stairs is usually good against an external wall in the darkness, no vibrations.
He's
with
got a
the purse.
little wine cellar, not really a cellar because it's on the ground floor of the house that he's got.
Right, so you got
which
cellar
is-
in and all that. Yeah.
We've got a cellar as well.
Yeah.
But by the colour, we're a little
I once
bit
tried
cloudy.
to go through
It's
it
not really
and
good.
was told off by.
So a wee bit of cork. Have you got a wee tea strainer to?
We haven't got a tea strainer. Maybe we'll get one.
So on the nose already tells me
It smells already good, doesn't it?
Does it? Okay.
So you don't like it?
I've got no. It's a little bit. There's good aromas, but there's also a touch of wet cardboard, which signifies maybe a slight oxidisation.
Well, you're the expert. I just thought it smelled all right. Let's have a look.
I'm not getting any sort of.
Chateau Lurtu. Here we are.
It's
How about
bizarre
that?
in the flavour. It's not quite there. It's lost all of its
Which
root
grape is it?
characters.
There we go.
I think this is it's the Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah.
Côte
So
de
just
Bourg.
classic.
So do you think he's off then? Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't be drinking it, but nonetheless, you can.
That's
taste
off.
It's a touch of water.
No,
watery.
that's not nice. No, sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't taste
Yeah.
good.
No, that's.
That's a spittoon, but not in that spittoon that you're drinking later. It goes in this spittoon.
Well, for the one that I drink after that. I drink
Yeah.
that one.
No, after that
Yeah.
one. But we just wanted to try, and I think that's what we're trying to do: is mix it up, bring some interesting stuff. But don't worry, we're not going to end on a sour note. We're going to have a okay Bordeaux. to
Yeah,
have.
because that's a cracking wine. I bet it is, but it's just the cork.
We usually buy. Me and Oliver buy a lot of old wines for collection, for pastime, and for tasting, and just
Do you
research.
ever drink? You tried Portuguese wines?
Chuck that in there for me.
What's that? Oh yeah,
No,
sure.
yeah, and then we said,
Yeah, we had one yesterday. Where was it? We had a nice Portuguese red yesterday, 2018.
The Douro?
Possibly, yeah. I can't
Or,
remember.
Altejo.
Oliver took it from the collection and opened it.
Some great wines, Altejo region and Douro, obviously.
I like the style. It's a little bit heavier on the red. It's really good quality. It's good depth to it, and they produce some good stuff from Portugal.
There's a lot coming out, but very few actually keeps up with, say, your Italian reds, like because I'm a great.
I'm just going to finish this Chablis.
Yeah, Sangiovese,
Amarone,
Amarone.
Montepulciano.
Sparkling's a great trend, so Franciacorta. So the last one, gentlemen, is going to be Chateau Ferrier. 2017, again, the Champagne root bar, £22 a bottle. So with Cabernet Franc, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Merlot, kind of classic grapes from the region.
Bordeaux, Chateau Ferrier.
And it's on the right bank. This should be safe.
Chateau Ferrier.
Yeah, 2007.
Quite a modern sort
And
of
this is a
label.
blend?
It's quite a modern label.
A blend of.
Somewhat, isn't it? A bit trendy, isn't it? It's got its QR code in the back. And
Right
whatnot.
away,
It's a different thing on the nose, isn't it? It's
the result of my passion, says the man writing this. My vineyard roots in a unique.
It's just a
My
classic
vineyard roots in a
Bordeaux style.
unique Flint terroir and spreads over sunny hillsides to offer a generous wine with delicate, spicy, red berry flavours.
And I think that's what it's delivering. Yeah, it's just literally easy to
Smells
drink.
nice.
Yeah, better than the last one. Was a
Oh,
little
right
bit-
away. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Quite
gonna,
sort of,
next time I come down, I'm going
quite
to bring some
fruity.
Portuguese wines.
Yeah, super.
To try.
I like that.
That is okay.
Yeah, I like
Better,
that.
isn't
it's
it?
light as well. It's a sort of a
What's your
summery-
favourite red then? What's your
summery
favourite
red,
wine?
I would say. You could put that in the fridge, couldn't you?
You could do, yeah, if you want it a little bit chilled or warm. It depends how you want the wine to express itself.
I quite like a red wine in the fridge, if it's a light one, you know, like a Beaujolais or something.
Beaujolais.
I always keep my wines, I keep my red wines chilled. You know that, and people go, "What do you do that for?" Keep them chilled.
Beaujolais definitely. There's nothing better than a nice fresh glass of Beaujolais.
Yeah.
What's your favourite
time,
red?
by the way? It's 9:42.
Favourite
Which
red
means-
would be Barbaresco, Barolo Barbaresco. for me.
Barbaresco.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, mine is up. I think it must be the Tianello. I love that. The Barolo, you
Barolo
mentioned,
is
and Margot
nice.
for the
Chateau Margaux. Goodness me. Yeah.
I suppose that's at the top. There you go.
Is that your favourite? I mean, your best red wine? I'll tell you what, that's stuff we had last night. I thought was really lovely. No, I did though.
You're making me
really
jealous.
Smooth, lovely kind of.
We
you know-
had.
I mean, I'm
two
a
bottles
big.
of.
I'm a big fan of Barolo.
Barolo,
You know,
yeah, I like the. Yeah.
Oh, I think
I
it's
like a
really
Barolo more than an Amarone. I knew you're an
Aged
Amarone.
Baroni. No, I
think
prefer.
it's too heavy.
I'm Barolo with above
But
Amarone.
aged.
You know.
But my actual favourite, I think, sort of grape is a Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I had a Pinot Noir in Boisdale for my son's birthday. I can't remember what exactly it was. 75 quid in the restaurant.
Champagne.
And it was delicious.
Yes,
really,
lighter
really good.
style, isn't it? Less tannin.
We had
so
two
it's
of them as
easy,
well.
Yeah. You had two of them, did you?
Funny that.
What was our favourite bottle, gentlemen? Don't say the buck first, please.
Well, it definitely wasn't that.
No, you didn't like that.
That's a glass cleaner.
That one's out the equation.
I think the first
Cremant
was lovely.
From Aldi.
The champagne.
Yeah. You like the champagne?
The champagne was great.
They'll be delighted with that, yeah.
That was really good.
I wasn't too impressed. I thought the Cremant hit the mark right away.
I think this one for me. I think this.
Yeah.
Oh,
You like
no,
that?
I think it's more. It is more expensive.
What champagne would you?
That was a
that's the Gary
Bourgogne.
Rhodes one.
That is, yeah, Gary Rhodes, yeah. The
The
late
one
Gary
you thought
Rhodes.
was a bit over the top. You didn't like it.
Yeah, not for me.
No?
Best wine, the best out of the lot was the first Cremant.
Yeah, the Cremant, yeah, this is good for Aldi, yeah.
And that's Aldi $9.99.
It is
Yeah.
$8.99. $8.99.
Should we hold that one up?
No, I've got it on screen.
Oh, yeah, there it is. There we go, yeah.
Without a doubt.
At EBV 12%.
You know what? It's light. You actually felt, you can drink that in the morning.
Yeah, and it's quite relatively cheap, so it's affordable for most people.
And the red wine, that was.
I think this is lovely.
Yeah, I would have loved to have tried that. You know, with it not being corked. The other
Have you got a lot of
Oh.
that at home? That one,
these stuff,
the corked one.
Yeah, we got lots of we can bring down. So we got loads of different types
Well,
of
don't
wine.
bring any more like that.
No, we won't do that. No.
What about that? Now, what do you think about this fine appellation?
That looks like something.
That's a
someone's peed
It
in.
looks like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, it's time to go to the hospital.
Crikey, no.
You've got to taste it.
Listen, no, it's brilliant as ever. I mean, people are loving this show, by the way. You know, we've only
Are there
done
people
two.
still watching this?
No, they love it because we've put out two of the shows. What people like to do is and we'll put out before Saturday. We'll put out all of these different wines, so that you can actually buy them in if you want and taste them along with us and see whether you agree with us. And it's a really kind of interesting, I think, kind of multifaceted show. Because it's not about politics, it's not about shouting and moaning, it's not about complaining about Keir Starmer, although I quite like to complain about him even now.
Yeah.
But people really enjoy it.
It's about getting burst.
No, but people really enjoy it. It's not actually about that. Only
Well, I don't know about you, but
only a Scotsman would say that. But no, but listen, it's been brilliant. And also, Pooch has done this to me deliberately, because he's desperately trying to get me to do a 3-hour show, and it's now coming up to very nearly 10 to 10, which means we've practically done 3 hours.
Wow.
And this is the power that Pooch has, right?
You know what? Pooch.
Got me,
It's not just Pooch here. Donald McLeod's been saying do a 3-hour show.
I know you have, and I've been resisting it, going, no, it's going to be too much like hard work. Not in that sense. But,
What we need is cheese the next time.
Well, what we obviously need
biscuits
is
and crackers and a
just
bacon.
to speak to Pooch.
And a bacon roll. A bacon roll would have been good.
Just turn the last half hour into a drink fest.
Yeah.
And then you get your 3-hour show, right?
Splattered.
Cheers. That's nice. Thank you very much to Chris Walkie.
No, thank you, sir.
Where can people find your sort of website?
Yeah, well, we're
goods and all that?
glassofbubbly.com. We don't sell any of these wines. We just bring them in. We don't mind if you buy them or not. So we just like to educate people about bubbly and all things wine.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Brilliant. Fantastic. And thanks to Oliver as well. You managed to stay reasonably unscathed by the explosive nature of the... See, you're going to have to go for a walk.
I'd do anything.
You, dear.
When you're talking.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think a guy who's been in the entertainment business for in his entire life would understand microphones, but no.
Yeah, but I do understand it, but I thought I'd entertain.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's not working. Anyway, thank you to Chris, thank you to Oliver, thank you to Donald McLeod of the Clan McLeod, MBE. We'll be back tomorrow from 7 a.m, of course. Look out for all of the clips that we're going to put out. And also, Saturday night, if you want to, please go ahead and buy some of these wines. We'll put out the links to all of them, and then you can drink along with us again at 7 p.m. Saturday. Coming up a bit later on today, we're going to film Plank of the Week. Kelvin McKenzie's coming in for that. That should be funny. And we'll see you tomorrow. This is Mike Graham Show. Enjoy Thursday.